Okay, we are live on YouTube and TikTok. We're going to be doing some tutorials today.
Mm-hmm.
I am honestly so happy that I've got my Photoshop and my tablet set up here on stream.
Heck yeah.
Because I can finally draw.
Yeah, I need to make a new canvas. Maybe I'll work on this illustration some other time.
How is everybody doing? You could work on that until
we get some people.
Stuff going on. How is everybody?
Everyone.
How is everybody doing? Lee, hello. Michi Narvminsu, Sam, Very, Lee, hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Lexi, hello. I feel a kitty, and it is a dark kitty, so it's Poppy.
Poppy.
Wait, I should so get Coolerus installed on here. Ooh.
Wait, you should.
Crap, do I have to buy it again for this computer?
Maybe.
Is it connected?
Hello. Hey, Tuna.
Let me see.
I'm just working on this illustration for a little bit while we wait for more people. I think a yellow starfish would be kind of cute. I also don't know where this illustration is going to take me. Maybe it'll be successful, maybe it won't. Hopefully it will. We'll do a purple seashell up in here.
How is everybody doing?
Yeah.
Look at all these people.
And only one high,
Lily.
Adelie.
2 highs.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
How is
Hi,
everybody doing? Arthur Crowell. Huh?
What?
Crowell.
Where?
SVK, Tootsie, Tuna. ... Mapachi. I don't know how to say these names. I'm doing my best here. Sweet Sacrifice. Hello, welcome. A lot of people. Let me ping the Discord. Anime drawing tutorials, and then I'll go maybe.
And I really enjoyed the critique stream last time.
IDK.
IDK.
How, Lexi? What's going on? Hello, Lily on YouTube.
Hi.
Install Coolerus. Install.
Hey, Koi.
This is gonna be a big rip if this requires a restart. I don't think it will. Hi. Please restart Photoshop.
Oh, Photoshop. Okay, well that's fine.
Yeah, I'll just restart Photoshop. Aaron, hello.
Hey, Aaron.
Look at all these people scrolling through in their lives. Just absolutely crazy. We've got all these people from different places in the world, and they're just kind of
chilling,
scrolling on TikTok, brain rotting, doom scrolling. Maybe some of them will find some nourishment, and we see all of them. It's like passing people on the, like in the mall or something, you know?
Yeah, it is like that.
Wow. Hello. Dahlia. Ouchie.
That's really interesting. This purple right here is kind of like, hold up one second. It's kind of like a cool purple. It's like basically like a bluish purple, but it looks very like a warm purple on this canvas. Color theory.
Sewing and chilling. Nice.
Nice.
Nashi. Hello.
Need to move this guy.
You have a job now.
A job? Well, that's fantastic.
Crazy. I hope that's fantastic.
I hope. I mean, it seems like you're pretty excited about it.
For a job, and then I found a job. Heaven knows I'm miserable now.
Heaven knows I'm miserable now. Color theory is so hard. We could probably talk about color theory. We'll see how we do.
I might have to look up. Am I even logged in? I guess I am.
I want this to be a red crab. Orange crab. Should this be like a muddy green treasure chest? We'll see how it goes. that's cute.
Activations limit. Okay.
Yes, can you guys also do shading too? Yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll put some stuff on the
Bro,
list.
it's so hot.
It is getting hot in here.
Are you hot? I'm
Art
hot.
tutorials.
Let's see if this fan works well.
Ooh. I mean, we might as well use this. Ooh.
Okay.
Okay, we got a fan up here. It actually feels really good.
Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Awesome.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving in Canada.
Color theory
color
is so hard.
theory.
We can cover some color theory. So we've got 2 ways to draw now. We're trying out this new thing where I can just press one little button here. Boop.
Boop.
And I have my
I mean,
I have my my canvas, and I can show you my Coolerus.
I love Coolers. It's so good.
Yeah, it's good.
You want to talk about some color theory?
That's what we're doing.
Heck yeah. We might
We
as well
can
start with
we can talk about some like color theory stuff.
You know, it's actually kind of nice that we don't have to switch seats anymore when when it's like this.
Yeah.
I can still read chat, and I can
So-
actually read it.
When it comes to color theory, let me take a peek at some. Like, this is a demo that I did last night. Like, I painted over someone's piece and added a little bit of color stuff. And so most colors look pretty good together. I would say keep it pretty limited and just understand like warm, cool contrast. So like if I've got a warm color, I can cool it down by either going more purple, or I can cool it down by either going more gray.
Okay.
So I can cool this down multiple ways. So understand, what's up?
I'm gonna just take a picture of that fan and send it to your grandma. She's the
Oh.
one that gave us that fan.
And so like value is the most important thing. So I could say, you know, you could have like a warm light, like something that's got a warm light on it. Let's just say we've got maybe like a box, right? That's color dynamics. Here we go. So let's just say we have like a warm box. And so I can like have this box here, and let's say I want to shade one side of this box. I can map out my shadows. My value is going to be the most important thing, but I can come down here and I could go into gray, and I could cool this down like in this way, right? I could go towards gray to cool it down because yellow is a very warm color. Or I could go, say,
Maybe like a orangish.
yeah, I
gray.
could go into like, I could even go into something like this
Oh, that's pretty.
if I want. You see how like I'm paying most attention to my values, like my lightness and my darkness, and I'm making sure that my shapes are correct. Most of the time, people don't really have color problems. They have problems of their shapes aren't right, or they have problems of their values aren't right. Okay? Or if it's a color problem, if I just took this, let me like make this bigger. Can I? Yeah. If I just took this and I just went like straight down, that would not be very interesting to look at. There's like no hue shift. There's no saturation shift.
The values work though.
The values do work, but there's no hue or saturation shift. So I can do whatever I want. I could come in here and I could do blue, right? And say, I could go like this. And it still
Still
reads
feels
as a
yellow.
box. It still reads as a box. So like, honestly, the colors don't really matter that much. I could go in here and I could do red. This will read as a box as long as my shapes are correct. The number one most important thing is shape. The number two most important thing is value. And then colors are kind of up to what you want a lot of the time.
So can you elaborate more on like the kind of shape you're talking about? Because I know that some people when they say shapes, they think
I literally mean
boxes.
if this is the correct rectangle. I literally mean if this is the correct rectangle. And I literally mean if this is the correct rectangle. I can honestly make these anything I want. I could take that one.
Random colors.
I could take this one and make it blue. I could take this one and make it pink or purple, right? And as long as these are the right shapes and I put them together, the colors don't really matter that much. This still reads as a box. You can be absolutely wild with your colors, but if your shapes are correct, then it'll work.
Look
So
at
for
that.
example,
Where do you draw on?
I'm drawing on Photoshop right now. I'm on the computer in front of me. So like this is one way that you can practice shapes, right? These are Krenz cubes. So you basically draw things a bunch of times and your brain remembers the shapes of them, and if you get those shapes correct, it will look like the thing no matter what, essentially. Like here's some other practice that I did last night on stream. And it really doesn't matter. So you study, that's Craig Mullins, right? And then you could say, make a cast shadow. Like I'll come out here and say, make a cast shadow. And I can make it whatever the heck color I want. Still
Okay.
reads. Someone would go, oh my gosh, the colors. I love the colors so much. But like, I literally just picked colors at random. Like, I didn't even really care that much. It's the shapes that are the important thing. I could make this color. The shapes are correct. So I would say, like, as long as you're keeping your colors relatively clear and simple, they don't really matter that much. It's shape. It's the hierarchy. There's a really important hierarchy, by the way. It's like a triangle, all right? So we've got shape.
Applejack's here.
Anybody who is learning and wants to get better, I would recommend writing this down in your notebook and sticking it or on a sticky note and put it on the wall. Shape, value, color. Color is like the least important of them.
We got a question. What would you advise for a person that is not sure how to learn? I can somewhat draw. I want to learn how to draw characters.
Figure drawing.
Figure drawing. We have a class on figure drawing.
Yeah. So if you want to get better at drawing characters,
Figure drawing is key.
I would recommend taking a figure drawing class.
Costume drawing classes.
Yeah. Figure drawing. Costume drawing.
We have a video on our YouTube channel that talks about figure drawing and has a process for it.
Yeah.
It's Draw Anime Academy on YouTube.
Yeah, you're gonna get proportions and gesture. So like gesture, I hate writing with this brush, honestly. You get proportion and gesture.
Oh, and Krem asked later, what about adding lighting to a sphere? Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Right, there's proportion and gesture. There's simple volumes. And then there's anatomy on top of that. So a figure drawing class is generally going to teach you a process to drawing people. It's going to teach you like proportion and gesture. So you'll learn like a basic proportional method that's based on, say, an 8-head figure.
What was it you guys were talking about yesterday with candies?
Candies, that was,
On composition.
yeah, that was on like composition, right? You know, you can say, I don't know. So you'd learn proportion, which could be something like a simple 8-head figure. Right? Elbow right here, wrist right here, hand, elbow, wrist, hand. You would learn something like this, and then you would learn how to add volume to it. So like that goes maybe away from us, this comes towards us, this goes away from us, this goes away, this goes away.
This maybe goes in front.
Yeah, this maybe goes in front and away, right? You could go, okay, maybe this one goes away, that one goes. So this would be like the proportion and gesture phase. And then you would add volume on top of that, like depending on which way this is facing. So it could be, you could simplify it as a cylinder if you want. You could simplify it as, say, a box if you want, like...
Hey, Snaz. Okay.
Like that, right? And then you would start adding anatomical information to the top of this. So I would really recommend taking a figure drawing class. figure drawing class. Any good figure drawing class will do. There's a lot of them out there. There's classes in Brainstorm. There's classes. There's even videos. We have a video on YouTube that breaks down kind of the basics of figure drawing as well. That was about the focal point. Yeah, the candy thing was like about creating multiple focal points and like kind of creating pathways between them. But there we go. And I can't really read chat while I'm drawing and stuff. Do you have a class? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
We have a class. You can check it out. We have a bunch of classes, actually. It's an entire school. So it's kind of like if you go to an art college. There's a figure drawing class. There's a costume drawing class. There's a perspective class. There's a class on painting where I teach color theory and paint backgrounds and all kinds of stuff. So you can check it out here.
Yep. Sorry, I'm also going to pull up some images if I can just find photos. There we go. Yeah, so stuff like this, anatomy. Here it is, some figure drawing.
This is stuff from the class.
This is an analytical figure drawing, so we teach both the muscles and also a figure drawing process. So you're basically having like 2 classes in one. And a lot
can't see that
they
all, by the
cannot
way.
see that. That is
You're going to have to hold it closer
okay.
or zoom in. It's teeny tiny.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Some hands. Here we go. Show you how the process of drawing hands and shading them. Same thing with drawing feet, because feet and hands are one of the hardest things to learn. Here's the process, exactly as how Colton was talking about.
Are you able to do a quick recap on composition at some point? I missed that lesson. Yeah.
So yeah, we have a lot of classes in our program, so you can check it out on our website, drawanime.com.
It's gonna be the yellow button.
Yep. The books are also very helpful. Yes, we also have books.
Yeah, we have 2 books.
Yep. It is these 2 books right here. You can get these on Amazon. Teach the basics of drawing anime as well as anatomy and clothing drawing, and this is about how to design your own characters. So I know that you said you were asking about how to design characters. This book will be also very helpful for you.
Yeah.
I have this issue. I can somewhat draw what I see, but not when I want. What is that exactly? Well,
Not really sure.
not
When
really sure
you
what that
want?
means.
How do arms connect to the body? Awesome. I'm glad you find the live streams helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could talk a little bit about the candy thing.
Yeah.
Essentially, I had a piece of Craig Mullins. Where the heck? I think
It's up there. Okay. You
This
might want to show
piece.
that.
I know.
Oh yeah, no problem. Sorry.
All right, so this is a piece by Craig Mullins, and I think it explains that kind of candy principle really well. So this piece right here is very rough. It is not very detailed, but your brain tricks you into thinking it is more detailed than it actually is. And the reason is because he's created pathways. He's created little candies and he's created pathways. So this right here is a nice, high contrast, detailed spot. I call this a piece of candy, all right? This area in here, super, super rough. Just brush strokes and blobs. Very, very simple stuff. He's just done a very rough job of silhouetting the outside of the head. He's got this little piece of candy right here. It's not nearly as detailed as the face. He's got another point of high contrast right here. And you take this and you write it down. This line right here, you write it down. You write these details down and go down here. All right? And then here's another piece of candy. Pieces of candy can be anything you want. They're just like little focal points in your image. You write this back up. You take a look at this sleeve. Look at this nice sharp edge right here on the sleeve.
Look at
Nice
that.
sharp edge, high contrast, something to look at. And then you write it back up to the face. So I like thinking of this as you kind of put like a trail of candy in your scene. So if you're going to be drawing an artwork, I like to think you decide on like 2 or 3 main focal points. So say, here's a focal point. And then maybe I'll create a little pathway and I'll make another focal point. And then I'll create a pathway and I'll make another focal point. And I like to think about these focal points as pieces of candy. So you kind of create this hierarchy of candy with little pathways between them, connecting them. This is how a lot of artists work. they create focal points, and then they create pathways interlinking those focal points. And the areas outside of your focal point can ultimately be very rough and loose and not detailed. Here's another good example, right? High contrast, sharp, hard edges. Look how loose this edge is. Look how soft this edge is. Extremely soft, extremely loose. He's got a pathway right here down the cheek. It's a much harder edge. This is actually a pretty soft edge compared to the edge on this side. Look at the difference. Higher contrast, sharper edge, not as sharp edge.
It's almost like he's doing like hard, soft, kind of
Yep.
like a pattern.
You've
Even
got
like this kind
you've got this going through here. You've got another little piece of candy down here, and you can kind of plop them all over the place. And ultimately, these areas, this is really rough. Like this, like look how rough this arm is. It's not detailed at all. It's very loose.
But it
He
feels
doesn't have to make it detailed.
Which artist is this?
This is Craig Mullins. Craig Mullins is pretty widely regarded as one of the best. Craig,
in the world.
yeah, in the world. He's super good. I've taken a number of his classes online. Craig Mullins. He is a concept artist, illustrator. He's worked on every project known to man, and super
Even
super
worked on
good. He's
Tangled.
been he worked on everything from Disney movies to Fallout, video games to Assassin's Creed to films and movies. It like
Holy crap.
everything. He has a website. It's called Goodbrush.
So it's about understanding how to depict the illusion of detail in tandem with focal points.
It's more like you plan where you want your viewer to look. This was another example. Where do you think he wants you to look? Where's the area of highest contrast?
Hey, Cran.
This is really, really high contrast, right? Look at this.
Yeah.
Really bright contrast right here. Here's pretty bright contrast right here. Here's a pretty heavy contrast right here. This one right here, he's got a good amount of contrast here. But you also have to understand psychologically, some things are more important to the brain than other things. So like, if I draw shapes like this, come on. If I draw some shapes that are like this, all right, and I draw some shapes that are like this, even if they're the same contrast, your brain prefers this one because it recognizes it. So you can't underestimate the importance of like psychological pull of a subject matter. What are things that really pull? Hands, faces, human recognizable objects. Recognizable
Things that people like relate to.
stuff. So a focal point with something that's recognizable is going to be stronger than a focal point that's abstract. So a lot of the time people will design a very abstract composition. Like this is super abstract. If you just turned this into two values, it's super duper abstract. Right? Really, really, really abstract. But there are certain things that are recognizable in this shot.
It's funny because even though the sharpest point of contrast is the shield, I still look at the face.
Yeah, your brain is so drawn to faces. It literally looks for faces everywhere. It has to like humanize things. So that's the principle of like the candy. You're basically creating focal points, but not every focal point is created equal, right? A face is going to be really strong. A hand is going to be really, really strong. This hair clip, not super strong. In fact, this silhouette of the face right here is so powerful that you probably kind of like look between these two the most. People are desperate to see faces. And so you would look at this so much. You'd kind of look between the hair clip and the face a lot of the time.
Sorry, off topic, but I love the picture frames of Miki and Miko on your layout so much. It looks so fun.
Oh, awesome. I should probably change that. Overlay, Halloween.
Let's do Tira.
Sure. There's
Cute.
Tira. But yeah, because someone was asking about the candy thing earlier, and I think it's really important. I think it's really valuable.
I'm struggling to draw hands, but not detailed hands like Chibi Easy hands. Look at Pokemon. Look at Pikachu's hands. Pikachu's hands are a great example of like Chibi hands, because it's literally just like a nub that is the same thickness all throughout. Like there's no definition of the wrist, and then there's like little fingers there's little nubs for fingers. Like, for example, you know, this is one way to draw a Chibi hand. It's just a little mitten. That's great. It's recognizable. Then there's you can just have another nub and then just add like little fingers like that, but don't change the thickness of the palm or the wrist. We have a Chibi class, by the way, which talks about this as well, and also how you can create your own characters that are Chibi style. But yeah, here's another Chibi hand. You can see that Chibi hands also like to taper, so it's still a little bit thinner towards the top than it is on the bottom. Would this work on Procreate?
I don't know what this.
What does this mean?
What does this mean? This is Procreate.
It's not easy if you have like no idea what like how it would look. Like I would say I know this like I know this kind of stuff because I've seen a lot of chibis. I've drawn a lot of chibis, and I know the basic shapes of chibi hands and stuff. So I think you just need to draw a lot, and you'll be able to do it.
Hey, Danny draws.
Hey.
Hey, Boxy.
What about lighting to a sphere?
Oh yeah, we got
you
that
wanna talk
question
about
earlier,
that.
didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, lighting a sphere. You know, it's a circle.
Ooh, I think it'd be cool to talk about like how to switch between 2D and 3D in art.
That is going to be above chat's.
Oh yeah.
Go over chat's head. We can talk about it sometime. 3D versus 2D mindset is not intuitive.
Yeah.
So lighting a sphere, you're basically going to have a lit side and a shadowed side, all right? So I'll just make like a couple, let me think. I'll just make like a couple spheres. So we got one there, and there. And then I'll just lock this here. So you're going to have a lit side and you're going to have a shadowed side. And you can light this from kind of whatever angle that you want. Like you could light it from this angle. You could light it from that angle. You could light it from even that angle. Works. All right. So you're going to end up having a lit and a shadowed side, depending. And your shadow that goes around the sphere is going to circle it. It's going to go in a circle, all right? So your sphere, your shadow of your sphere is going to go in a circle, all right? And so let's just say like this is the bottom half, this is the top half, and it's going to go all the way around your sphere in a circle. And that's going to take the form of an ellipse. When a circle is squished, it turns into an ellipse. So like if I just take a circle here and I squish it, this is an ellipse. So circle, ellipse, all right? And this ellipse is going to be the core that goes around. And then everything on one side of it is going to be in shadow, and everything on the other side is going to be in light.
What program do you guys use?
Multiple programs.
Multiple. Photoshop and Procreate is generally what we use. We mainly use Procreate on the iPad and then Photoshop on the computer.
Yep. And so you're going to get a cast shadow from the sphere, all right? And the way that you light spheres technically is basically you got a sphere and you have light that comes down. And you have to understand that light is three-dimensional. Light is traveling in 3 dimensions. It's traveling downwards, and it's also traveling a direction like north, south, east, west. And that creates a triangle. This triangle is how you figure out cast shadows, okay? So if I want to cast a shadow from a stick, you use that triangle, and this would be the cast shadow of the stick. if I change the light direction and it would be a different triangle, that would be the cast shadow of the stick. So on a sphere, what ends up happening is the cast shadow forms on the edge and it pulls down. So towards where the sphere starts, it's going to be shorter, and as it goes further away, it's going to get longer, and it's going to kind of look like that.
I can't see that. Oh, there it goes.
It's going to go longer, right? And so I'm just going to draw this in like really roughly.
How
like
do you paint a light source, for example, a lamp?
There's a lot of ways that you could paint a light source. Like, it's about relativity. So if I make this white and I put a little glow around this, and maybe I pull that out, like, that's gonna read as a light. It's gonna read as like a lamp.
Ramen says, I think I spent 6 more hours drawing my piece after your critique.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Right, and this is gonna pool on the ground, like probably something like this, and it's gonna have a fall off. You know, you'll have a light side and you'll have a shadowed side, and you'll have a shadow being cast by it. Might get a little ambient occlusion under there. But like, that'll read as a lamp. It's like, a lot of it is contextual, right? Like, you know, light is bright. You know, a light is bright, and so if you make it brighter than other stuff, it'll read as a light.
That's fun.
It might be a, I guess if you had a more like specific question, but like, just understand, like, in color wise, again, there's so many different kinds of light, but if I wanted to make like a warm light, I might go purple into red into orange into yellow, and that reads as light. But you could do the same thing with cool colors. You could go and you could go up through your blues into your cyan. So you push it, go brighter. You push it, you go brighter. You push it, go into cyan. And like, this would read as a cool light. And that glow effect comes from kind of the pathway that you create through colors and value. Like, if I turn this black and white, it's got the value change. And if I turn this to color, if I pull this over here, you can see purples, reds, oranges, yellow, like that. But it works the same way, and this would really pretty much work with any color. Like, you could create
A yellow light, a green light.
yeah, you could create a yellow light.
How can I get good at digital art?
Practice a lot.
Foundation.
Learn foundation, definitely. Digital art, like, digital art is not a whole lot different than traditional art. A square is a square, whether it's on a piece of paper or on a screen. A line is a line. Red is red. So, like, practice, learn foundation, and try a bunch of stuff, I would say. Right? You can pretty much create this pathway through any color.
I've been trying to draw digital art, but can't control my hand.
Hand control comes from mostly a lot of practice, but there's exercises that you can try as well. So yeah, like, you can
Thank you, Pompous.
you can make light this way. And this works through any color. It'll even work through the whole rainbow. You can make it go from red to cool.
Even as you change the hues, the tones are changing in a curve. It's really fun to analyze.
Yeah. And you'll notice this. Like, I would really recommend to do still lifes. Do still lifes. Just get your iPad, get a piece of paper, get watercolor, set something simple up on your desk with a lamp, and do a still life. Like, it's so incredibly useful to do still lifes. Colorist.
I was doing like a little exercise on drawing spheres, but then turning them into faces.
That's good.
Yeah, because like I think it's easy to see like, okay, yeah, I can do a sphere, but like how do I shade a face? And I think sometimes just modifying the sphere to turn it into like something that looks like a face and then lighting that actually could help you transition. So like adding a cone.
It looks like the
nose.
moon from
It does!
Legend of Zelda.
I was thinking that, or like from Soul Eater, with the creepy moon. Well, that's more of a crescent moon than a.
I don't know that one.
It does look silly, but hey, you know.
Am I late for shortening? How can I get good at digital art? How can I improve drawing faces? Draw a bunch of faces.
Yeah.
I would recommend taking a head drawing class. Learn the structure. Draw a bunch of skulls. The skull creates the underlying forms of a head. Mm-hmm. Like the skull drives the head. That is the structure underneath of a head. Draw a bunch of skulls, you will get way better at drawing heads. And then, of course, study each individual feature. What are the forms of an eye? What are the forms of a nose? What are the forms of lips? What are the forms of an ear?
I mean, you could technically turn this into a face. This looks horribly creepy, but did you want to show your still lifes?
Sure I can. I wish I had more. I know I've done a lot of still lifes. The heck are they all? I guess I just never really put them anywhere.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, I got a couple of still lifes that I can show everybody.
How would you go?
What?
How would you go about drawing an androgynous looking person? Not sure how to go about that. I would say if your character's a girl, you want to make him give more masculine features. If your character's a guy, give them more feminine features, and then you got androgynous. Mm-hmm. There's definitely characters that will kind of look like 50-50, so you can't like really tell. But I would say first, do like 70%. Whoops. What the heck? What's going on? Oh, it's because I have alpha locked. What I would do is I would say, okay, I'm going to do 70% male, 30% or feminine. Feminine.
Yeah, it wouldn't really be accurate to say male or female.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
That's not the scale. It's
Exactly.
masculine versus feminine.
Yep.
Features.
Or you could say like 70% feminine and reverse it. So that could mean. I'll just say mask. So if I were to draw this, I would say, okay, maybe the face shape is more masculine. So like longer, with maybe like a point in the chin. But maybe the eyes are feminine. Because I mean, there's characters like that, like for instance, Gojo. He's mostly masculine, but like has feminine eyes, and that will feel more androgynous. And in anime nowadays, you can literally draw a pretty girl and call it a guy, and that's like the joke, right? Kazuki
from Get Backers.
Like this you could argue that this is a guy because if you just put like a male hairstyle on top, you can't really tell the difference.
Yeah, this could go either way.
You can make, if it's like 70% male, you can have a stronger neck. Now this feels androgynous. I drew this really quickly, but
it's very androgynous. You could easily make the argument either way.
Yeah, and if you want like a more masculine female character, you can have a feminine face, but that's stronger looking, so that means longer, sharper. Masculine eyes, so that means probably smaller eyes, smaller pupils, stronger.
What brush are you using? You can download this brush for free, actually.
Now this feels more masculine because you got sharper features, you got more like a stronger vibe, but you can have a feminine neck. There we go. Oops.
There's the brush download.
Thank you.
It's on our website, drawanime.com. It's going to be the green button.
Yep.
It works in Photoshop. It works in Procreate. I actually use this brush in Photoshop. Here we go. This is the same brush, just in Photoshop.
Look at
that.
that.
There you go.
And then if you want to be more feminine, you could definitely give her like short feminine hair.
Are we doing art critiques? You know, we thought about it. I did put it in the, did I put it in the title or did I just put it in the Discord announcements? Critiques maybe too, IDK?
I think you said that, but I don't know if it was in the title. But it's all about the vibe, right? Is that a still life you did?
Yeah, oh,
That-
this one? Yeah.
It is, wait, is it Yuming's shield brush? It's, Yijun Ke's shield brush, I think.
Yijun Ke, it came from Yijun Ke's brush pack. You can find that brush pack online buried in an old Reddit post, but it looks like this. It's a good shape. It's got a good texture to it.
Wow.
And it's literally the best brush ever created in the history of mankind. I will fight. I will fight on that. It's a pretty good brush too. But yeah, this is a still life that I did. This one's just with the basic round. It's actually this brush right here. And I just chucked a couple of sticky notes on my desk, like a pad of sticky notes. We've got a window over here in the background. And I've got a lamp on my desk up here that's kind of looking down at it like this. And I would really recommend just setting up really simple blocky still lifes like this. Simple materials, nothing crazy. Don't throw a shopping bag on there. Don't throw a glass decorative vase. Just do like simple blocky matte materials. Like try to find things that are like matte, which is like rough, like it doesn't have reflections, and try to find some stuff that's like a little bit more reflective. A Rubik's Cube would be great. Right, you can see on the Rubik's Cube, like it's a little bit reflective. And so you'll start seeing where reflections show up. And then find some really matte materials as well. You could do like wood, you could do playing cards. Try not to do things with too many patterns if you want to do like basic still lifes and learn. But yeah, I have a bunch of still lifes. Unfortunately, I don't really have them up anywhere. My bad, chat.
Maybe we should just start posting them.
I don't know where they are. I'd have to dig through files forever.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But yeah, I posted a couple on my ArtStation recently. What is this? Here's my ArtStation. These aren't still lifes. These are from Imagination. Like this one's from Imagination. You can see I actually put my whole process up here as well. I build these things pretty methodically. This one's from Imagination. I'll do a whole bunch of still lifes. This one's actually from Observation.
Is that my yoga mat?
Probably.
Or maybe you just added a texture. Just
I may have just added a texture.
Yeah.
But I like doing studies like this. And you can tell they're really simple. Like, for stuff like this, I actually forgot I even did this one. For stuff like this, I'll just go 100% opacity. I'll just choose like a whitish color, right? You can just go,
It's cord.
yeah, like that. And then I'll just select it, take maybe another basic round brush, darken it up a little bit.
You can't see the end of it. There we go.
There, like pretty easy to add. And then you can come here and you can just go cast shadow, cast shadow, cast shadow, cast shadow, cast shadow, cast shadow. This will ground stuff. Cast shadows really ground things. Cast shadow, cast shadow, cast shadow, cast shadow. See, now it's on the mat. It like feels like it's actually there. And doing a bunch of still lifes will help you learn about this kind of stuff. I would recommend, doing like 20, 25 of them. They don't have to be super detailed.
How did you pick your colors?
I just chose like a white, like a gray, like white gray. In this shot, this is a warm light. You can see that this is kind of warm. If you take your color picker over here, I chose warm light, cool shadows, and this whole mat is blue. So you're getting blue
Fill.
you're getting blue fill light thrown up in here from the mat because this blue bounces light. So I have warm light and I have like cooler shadows. So you can see light is warm, shadows are cool. So I just went ahead and showed, like, I didn't even choose the same white. You can see this is like pretty warm. This white is pretty cool, but it still works. It doesn't matter. It's more about the values and like keeping the consistency. Because who's to say this isn't an off-white cable, right? Who's to say this isn't a cable that's cool? Like I could come in here with a pink cable, or like I could put a rubber band in here,
Okay.
right? I just chuck a rubber band in here, and then I just go, okay, cooler shadows. Cooler shadows. And then I go, okay, warmer. Maybe make like a little highlight here and there. It's like there's a rubber band, right? And it doesn't feel like it's there because I haven't added any cast shadows yet. So we can come in here and you know, you can add shadows, add a shadow over this. I can add a shadow in here.
You need to teach us how to make the perfect shapes of these. What does of these mean? You mean like of still lifes?
Right, here's another cast shadow. I can just bring this down.
You do a lot of still lifes in anime art school as well.
Yeah, I do a good amount of them. I do teach stuff like this in anime art school, in our school, in my painting class. See, there's like a rubber band. And like, it's a good start. Like, I would want to clean it up. Like, I would spend more time on this. But it's a good little rubber band, like from imagination. That's not a picture. No, this is a study, a still life.
You can see the brush strokes in there.
Yeah. This is all just brush strokes. Like, I found that these chargers will have like subsurface scattering. So like you'll notice that these shadows in here are like really warm, and you'd only pick this up from drawing it from observation. If you took a photo of this, you usually wouldn't get. I'm telling you, drawing from life is 100 times better than drawing from a photo, because you can pick up so much more nuance with your eyes than a camera does. You really, really need to draw still lifes from observation in person. I know people are lazy and they don't want to set them up, but I really think it holds people back as artists. You so want to, like, all these little color variations and nuances, because the camera has white balance, the camera has a certain exposure it's set to. Your eyes aren't that way. Your eyes are much better cameras than your phone. So you want to draw from observation as much as possible, because you can pick up so much color nuance. You can pick up so much little stuff. You can like look closely at something and like look far away, and you can squint your eyes, and you can change the angle and look at stuff from different angles. Is so much better than taking a photo. I don't even know. I think this whole still life probably took like 20 minutes. It's a very quick and rough still life. You can see like I didn't detail anything. This kind of stuff. This is really rough. I didn't fix any of these shapes, but like it holds up.
Oh, look the bounce light on the camera.
Oh wow, yeah.
I'm literally glowing.
Guys, I'm literally glowing.
Nice lighting too.
Look at that.
Whoa, that's sick. It's like a flashlight.
I've got the sun in my hand.
Bounce is actually
Shine
really
bright like a diamond. Yeah.
A bounce light is actually a very useful tool for showing gradients, because like look at that. Once you show a gradient from the sunlight, it like makes the face feel more dynamic. So I mean, even just the hand bounces the light, and it's like really, really reflective. And it's also because my hand is very bright, so it makes the light reflect even harsher. Cool. What is your ArtStation username?
Colbert.
Colbert.
That. Or you can just look up my name. Yeah, you can just look up what the. All right, guess not. whatever.
Colton DeBell on ArtStation.
Oh, I don't even have my thing up. Yeah, you can just look up my name.
It looks bright outside. Yeah, the sun is like basically going directly into our window.
The sun's hitting us at this particular angle. All right. You can look up this. This is my ArtStation.
This is fun.
Most of the stuff I post on ArtStation these days are like live demos and stuff. I don't really have any long, what would you call it, try hard pieces, because I don't work as a concept artist anymore, so I don't really have to maintain my portfolio. But yeah, so like this is silly, like live stream demo stuff. And a lot of the stuff I post is like studies, like this, clothing studies, costume studies, this kind of stuff.
Aw, wedding picture. Yeah, Colton's profile picture is our wedding picture.
Like this sort of thing. Old tree branches. Here's more like costume and clothing studies and stuff. Figure drawings. Sometimes I'll dump those types of things on there. But yeah, that's it. You can find me at this name if you want. I don't really have an Instagram or anything. I do have an Instagram, but I don't post.
Mm-hmm.
I should.
You maybe could post your studies on there. On your still lives.
Well, yeah.
Fox asks if the crit submission is supposed to be open.
Sure. Yeah, you can post in the critique channel. I can't promise we'll get to everybody. I can't even promise we'll get to anybody. I just left the possibility open if something speaks to us.
I find that lighting the head, especially like it's a lot about design too. Like I feel like I used to think of lighting the head as something like super logical and there has to be like a science behind it, but I noticed that a lot of the time when you light a subject and you're the painter, you can actually kind of finesse things and get away with certain design decisions.
Yeah.
So like if I want to light the head but I want it dynamic, sometimes I'll just literally go in and just say, okay, here, all this is going to be in light, and maybe there's going to be a little bit of light, like, what do we think? Like maybe in here, and then the rest is dark. And it'll actually still look believable, because you can have an argument for it. And then that way you have like some nice a nice shape that's lit, and then a nice shape that's in the shadow, and you can think of it graphically.
Do you guys also do backgrounds? Yeah, that's mainly what I do.
Yeah.
It's like we're missing the shaded side. Yeah.
Oh, the ear's too
Yeah,
low.
I like playing with warm and cool quite a lot.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll even like not outline the ear, and I'll just like let this light come in and just kind of blend in. Makes it look cooler. I like this kind of lighting scenario.
Yeah. And a lot of it really comes down to lighting the head as well. Like study this guy. Mm-hmm. Study Asaro head. Big giant Asaro head.
Yeah.
Whoa. We have a baby one here though.
Yep.
There you go. This one's better for demonstration purposes. Definitely study those. Do you guys plan on releasing background tutorial book for someone who struggles with perspective? We don't have one planned at the moment. Funny enough, backgrounds aren't really that much about perspective. Like some backgrounds are a little bit more perspective heavy, but there's a lot of ways to imply perspective that don't involve grids and vanishing points and stuff. We talked about a little bit of them yesterday on our critique stream.
Mm-hmm. You have a critique on there. That's fun. Fun piece. I think Colton's fundamental video in 2 hours covers some perspective.
Yeah,
and
it
background.
does. On our YouTube channel, I have a video it's 2 hours long. It's on the fundamentals, like Christina said.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely recommend it for if you want to learn the basics of perspective. Obviously, we have our anime art school. I have a whole class on painting and backgrounds in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that? Here it is. Complete Beginner Art Fundamentals Course 2024. We have a stupid check. Already?
Already. Hey,
Sometimes they wait like 3 or 4 hours. Here it is. It's this one right here. Complete Beginner Art Fundamental Course 2024. I should rename that, honestly. It's on our YouTube channel, Draw Anime Academy.
Is there a homework channel or place to post like practice and improvement?
Any of the art share channels.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys doing Q&As? Where we are answering questions in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, post any Q you want, and maybe we'll give you an A. I need to practice.
It's kind of fun. I feel like the brush on the iPad actually works really nice too.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It's so good.
I love the blocky hair. Thank you. I do too. I'm trying to use bigger brush strokes because I tend to work with, I'm a drawer, so I tend to use smaller brush strokes because I'm used to that. But I noticed that actually makes my paintings look kind of samey. So I'm trying to use like larger brush strokes to help with that. Would you recommend beginner artists start with shapes before heads and other stuff?
I want to know what you define as a shape,
Yeah.
because that's gonna change our answer. Like, what do you mean by shapes?
Do you mean like forms, like boxes, cylinders, spheres?
Squares, cubes, triangles, cones, stuff like that. Some of those are shapes and some of those are forms. So a shape is two-dimensional. So I'll just put this on.
Mm-hmm.
A shape is like square, circle, triangle. If you can identify these three things, you are ready to graduate shapes and move on to forms.
Yep.
Forms are three-dimensional. Form is box. Form is sphere. Form is cone. Form is cylinder. Form is ribbon. So these are shapes, which are very important, by the way. And these are forms. There is a connection between the two. There's a concept of 3D thinking and 2D thinking, but I would definitely recommend practicing forms.
Yeah.
Like this kind of stuff. Yeah, there's exercises to practice. There's Krenz cubes. Krenz cubes are really good for practicing boxes and drawing them at different angles. What ends up happening to a lot of people is they'll learn a box or a couple of boxes, and they'll only really draw those boxes. So they'll draw a specific box from a specific angle, and anytime they have to go out of that angle or out of that like they want to show a box from a different angle, they'll really struggle because their brains are like, they'll memorize a certain shape, right? I'll put this back on. So say they learn how to draw this box, and they'll memorize the red shape, and they'll memorize the yellow shape, and they'll memorize the blue shape. And this red shape is this diamond. And this blue shape is this diamond. And this yellow shape is this diamond. But if you look at a box from a different angle, for example, this angle, right? This yellow shape and this blue shape are different. This yellow shape is nothing like this shape, right? So you've got like shape A and shape B. Shape A and B are nothing alike. They're nothing alike. This one is like this shape, and this one is literally a diamond, right? I can't even draw a diamond, bro. What? There we go.
You can draw a diamond.
A diamond versus like, what is that, a rhombus? What is this?
I think that's a trapezoid.
Trapezoid. See, I don't even know. But your brain will memorize this shape. And every time you draw a box, you don't even realize you're doing it. Every time you draw a box, your brain goes like that. And so in order to get yourself to draw this shape, it ends up being very, very, very hard. And so this shape right here, if you bring it up here, this blue shape and this blue shape are very different. They're nothing alike. They're super different. Even though they're both boxes, drawing boxes from different angles is like, it's really difficult for your brain, okay? And so the reason it's important to practice something like Krenz cubes is because it forces you to learn these kind of shapes. It forces you to learn the different shapes, okay? And I'm talking in like addition to learning basic 1, 2, and 3 point perspective. Like, I like breaking perspective into two things. There's technical and intuitive. All right, technical is like 1, 2, 3, 5 point perspective, you know, vanishing points, horizon lines. Intuitive is just being able to draw a box. Like, draw a box, rotate a box, be able to draw it from different angles without going vanishing point.
Wait, Colton, I just figured out.
Right? Like, without dragging it out from your vanishing points. I think, like, you need to learn both.
Colton?
What?
What about a short that is like, you know those Blender tutorial, not those Blender videos where it's like, oh, Blender noobs making a space and they're like struggling so much, and then with the struggling guy, and then how pros do it, they're like, oh.
Yeah. Just, I kind of want to finish this thought first.
Mm-hmm.
So, these are Krenz cubes. This is like a practice exercise that helps people get better at drawing boxes from any angle. I think that would be a good idea. I don't think anybody would get it.
Oh, that's true.
It'd be a great video that pros would get, but no beginners would. So it would very rarely, it'd have a very low chance of performing well because
It's like
it
an
would just
inside
go
joke.
over everybody's head. It's just like a professional inside joke for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, Krenz cubes right here. This is a good exercise for that. All right. And then there's like the technical side, the 5 point perspective, the drawing boxes, the vanishing points, the horizon lines, all that kind of stuff. All right. This kind of practice is geared towards helping build intuitive perspective.
People are saying, what vanishing points always confuse me more for some reason. I do not understand the vanishing point and horizon line.
A vanishing point is just when something gets so far away you can't see it anymore. You throw a baseball, here's your baseball. You just threw it. It goes into the distance. It gets further away. It gets further away. It gets further away. And it disappears into the distance in a little sparkle light. That's a vanishing point. Something gets so far away you can't see it anymore. That's all a vanishing point is. With boxes, things go in straight lines, right? So some things are so long that they go into the distance and you can't see them anymore. Train tracks, right? Train tracks are so long that they go into the distance and you can't see them anymore. They end at a vanishing point. It goes so far away you can't see it. The vanishing point is on your horizon line. Now, horizon lines are a little bit more difficult to explain. Basically, a horizon line is your eye level. So here's you. Your horizon line is your eye level. So anything above the horizon line is above you. You see the bottom of it. Anything that's below the horizon line, right? You could even just pull this out. There we go, vanishing point. Anything that's below the horizon line is below you, and you can see the top of it.
How does one do more than 2 vanishing points? I don't get it at all anytime I try.
I could talk about that a little bit.
How do you avoid values in the light area being too close to values in the shadow area? Cremas.
Where is that? Oh. You keep them separate? I don't really understand the question exactly. You just make it darker or lighter? Like, if I
Choose
find
one
that...
side.
If like, it's kind of like you keep them separated. Like, you got to make sure that you're keeping your value group separated. So... I'm just thinking of how I'm going to kind of approach it. So perspective is really just you standing in the world. Here is you. And you've got the world around you in every single direction, right? You've got the world behind you. You've got the world above you. You've got the world around you. And you looking out of your eyes is like this kind of thing, right? Here's like a cone. This represents your vision. So you can look up, you can look down, you can look left and right? The world around you, think about it as a sphere, okay? So you have a sphere around you, and you're in the center of that sphere. Your head, your vision is in the center of that sphere. You've got 3 dimensions. You've got Z, forwards and backwards. You've got X, left and right, and you've got Y, up and down, all right? So we've got Y, Z, and X. 3 dimensions: front, back, left, right, up, down. But you can't see all of this at once. You can only see some of it. So your vision comes out like this. It's called the cone of vision. It's basically how wide or how narrow you see, all right? So Z goes down so far you can't see it anymore. And what did we just talk about a little bit ago? When something goes away so far you can't see it, it disappears. It's called a vanishing point. So here is Z. That's a point in front of you that disappears because it goes so far away from you. All right? But recognize that this is a sphere, right? It's a sphere. So I can't draw ellipses on this silly tablet. Let's just kind of like wobble our way through. There we go. So that's your left. This is your right. This is behind. This is in front of you. This is behind you. This is above you, and this is below you, right? Z is 1 point perspective. It's a box directly in front of you. So if we pull out lines, you come up, come over, so if you have a box sitting in front of you, the box looks like this. It's sitting in front of you. Your box is like down here. Let's just say it's like right there, all right? We, the observers of this little person, are in a different perspective than this person. So this person sees this, right? Box A, all right? So your horizon line is not a straight line. It's actually a circle. The horizon line is a circle that goes around you. It looks like a straight line because what does a circle look like inside view? If you flatten a circle down, it turns into a straight line.
Wow.
You are looking at a circle, you are looking at the pie, you have stuck your head through the pizza, and you now have pizza vision, and it's like around your head. All right?
Pizza vision.
The horizon line is not a straight line. The horizon line is a circle that you're looking at from the side. Okay? It is a slice of pie. 2-point perspective is this from above. And then here, your box is like this. In top view, this is 2-point perspective. This is your head. Okay? 1-point perspective is this. Here's your head. This is 1-point perspective. 2-point perspective was invented so you could look at boxes from an angle. Okay? A 2-point perspective box has 2 vanishing points. Here's Z, here's X, and I pull out and I look at a box from the side. All right. This is 90 degrees. So this is going to be 90 degrees. Your vanishing points are 90 degrees apart from each other. Why are they 90 degrees? Because 90 degrees is 1/4 of a circle. Remember, you have a vanishing point in front of you, that's Z, and you have a vanishing point on your right, that's X. This is 1/4 of a circle. That's 90 degrees. All right? Vanishing points are 90 degrees from each other. So when we're drawing 2-point perspective, you always have to remember vanishing points are 90 degrees. They are 1/4 of the circle. So you draw a vanishing point, a 2-point perspective. This could be Z and X. This is in front of you. This is to your right. These are 90 degrees apart. This is important once you start drawing in 5-point perspective, by the way. 90 degrees apart. And so if I want a box right here, it would be rotated like that, right? If I want a box in the middle, it's going to be rotated 45 degrees. If I want a box over here, it's going to look something like this. All right? This one, so we got, right, these are 90 degrees apart. We've got 45 degrees. Half of 45 is going to be 20, or I should do it this way. Half of 45 is 22.5. 45 plus another quarter is 67.5 degrees. I don't always explain perspective this way, by the way. I explain it different ways. Perspective is kind of complicated. Like, okay. So if we go back to our Krenz cubes, I have to find them first.
If I don't have access to a teacher, how can I double check my work so I don't keep messing up?
That's a good point.
Very good.
And it's hard. I don't really have a good answer for you. This is that. This right here is 2-point perspective. Right here. This vanishing point to this vanishing point. Here's our 45 degree mark. Here's Z. Here's right X. Here's our 22.5. Here's our 67.5. And it goes up. And this is another one. Here's top Y. All right? I flip this. Look, it's 2-point perspective again. Here's our 45. Here's our 22.5. Here's our 67.5. I flip this. Here's our 2-point perspective again. 45, 22.5, 67.5. Here's our 2-point perspective again. 45, 22.5, 67.5. And so this is to practice drawing boxes at any angle. These are Krenz cubes, right? And so I recommend doing these exercises in addition to learning your basics of like 1-point, 2-point, all that kind of stuff.
Learning perspective with 6, 7. Bro, that'd be funny.
67.5% rotation.
67.5.
Do you recommend drawing them like they're transparent? Yeah, that's draw through. I recommend drawing boxes using draw through because it's a way to self-check your work. And I can't draw. Why can't I draw?
Select.
I am not selected anything.
Are you on the eraser?
Nope.
Uh,
Now what's going on? How?
Okay.
I'm on black, I'm drawing, but it's working as
An
this.
eraser.
Chat.
Oh,
Phil.
your brush mode.
It's on clear. Why did my brush mode change?
I didn't even know that there was a clear.
Yeah,
brush
you
mode.
can change brush modes like this, but I never change them, so sometimes I guess they accidentally change. There we go. Yeah, I recommend drawing boxes like they're see-through because it's a way to self-check.
My aura broke it.
It's a way to self-check your work. So it's called draw through. And it's, you know, practice making sure your corners line up. Draw through.
Have you ever created a film project?
A film project? No. I don't create film projects. I just draw mostly.
We would love to make our own show at some point, but that would require a lot of work.
Yeah, I definitely recommend using draw through.
I think study streams and Krenz Cube practice could motivate people to do Krenz Cubes with us and practice farming practice.
Yeah, it's a good question, Pancakes. Honestly, there's no good answer. That's why mentorships exist, is because teachers don't generally teach for free, and they don't really have the time to spend on students for free a lot of the time.
A lot of time you will, like, without a teacher, you will be fumbling and you won't really know what you're messing up on. Like, I think something that could help is having the professionals work next to your work and being like, okay, what decisions did they do? Why did mine not look the same? Like, if you're doing like Krenz Cube exercises, have like their example, because generally they'll draw it correctly, and then look at your example, be like, okay, what lines am I missing? Like, what stuff am I not doing right? Not right, but like, what part did I miss?
Yeah, get good at self-checking your work. Like, breaking down, why does mine look different than the teachers? And another thing is, like, a lot of art channels out there are not very good. Like, a lot of tutorials are not really, they're not going to get you good. Like, studying foundation, learning foundation, practicing a lot, doing your exercises is good. It's kind of like being like, well, I watch a bunch of YouTube videos on exercise hacks. Why am I not completely ripped? And it's like, well, getting ripped it's not a complicated process. It's going to the gym, exercising, having good form, and doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and eating healthy, right? It's like, it's not a complicated process to get ripped. It's just not easy to do, and everybody's looking for a hack.
Yeah.
So I would recommend, like, if you want to get really good at drawing, if you want to get really good at art, find a reputable resource. 10% or less of your time would be spent watching lessons. 90% of your time would be spent practicing doing good exercises. It's like if you watch videos of people exercising 90% of the time and 10% of the time you go to the gym and you barely work out, like, you're not going to get ripped. It doesn't work like that, right?
Yeah.
90% of your time is practicing, but you practice good assignments, right? Not hacks, stuff that you don't want to do generally a lot of the time, right? Like, I made a list. Can you get the notepad on my desk that has the list of practice assignments and stuff? 90% of your time is practicing. But the practicing, it's like 90% of your time is doing like this kind of stuff in the beginning. 90% of your time is like doing Krenz cubes in the beginning.
Is it on like your actual desk in your office?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's just on a notepad. It has exercise or practice assignments on it. 90% of your time is practicing, 10% is lessons. So this is the catch, right? This is the catch.
There you go.
Good.
Wait, actually, just...
Good. These need to be good lessons. They're not hacks. These aren't how to avoid doing something. This is like
hardcore.
a personal trainer who's training people, who has successfully trained people to go into bodybuilding competitions where they've won. This is not like Mr. Random on YouTube who teaches you a secret technique that's supposed to get you ripped in 2 weeks, right? This is like no shortcuts. No shortcuts. Right? 90% of your time practicing good assignments. Right? Good assignments. I made a little list of stuff. There's perspective studies, master studies. So I'll just like write a couple of things out here. Perspective studies, master studies, anatomy studies. These are kind of vague. They each break down into different things. Figure drawing, still life, illustrations, portrait studies, design sketching, movie composition studies, plein air. Like, these are just some examples. These are some examples of the type of assignments that you would use to get good, all right? So I'll just chuck these up here. There's a guy, his name's Wojtek Fus, and I'll go find his work really quick. Wojtek. I can't spell his name right for some reason. He is an illustrator and concept artist. He hasn't uploaded any work in forever, but this is what some of his work looks like. He used to run a channel. He used to run a channel with a guy named Derek Zabroki and Jonas Dero.
I love those ones.
These are really old pieces of his.
That one's great.
He's very good. At the end of the day, I just want to say this guy's very good. Like, this is a piece of his from like 10 years ago, right? This
So
is like
good.
a painting of his that he did for fun. He's very good. He used to run a channel. He used to run a YouTube channel. It was called Level Up, and they had this list. They had this list of things, and it was like, I will practice 5 hours a day. And they had this whole list of things that looked like this. And so they would have these little blocks. It kind of looked like this.
It's like a little calendar.
Yeah, it was like a little calendar, and it was like a daily thing. And it's 1,
It's like an art calendar.
2, 3, 4, 5.
5 days a week.
5 hours a day.
5 hours a day. Oh,
This
okay.
is a 1 day,
Oh, okay.
right? And they would have these little blocks like this, and they would have all these different kinds of assignments. Perspective studies, figure drawing, still life, master studies, this and that, and this and that. Right? So this is like hour 1, hour 2, hour 3, hour 4, and hour 5. And so all of these types of things would correlate with these boxes. And then they would take one of these boxes, say it's like red, and they would go and they'd take it and they'd put it down here. And they'd go, okay, that's hour 4. And then they'd have one and it'd be like, oh, master studies. And they'd take this one and that's hour 3. And so these guys made this little schedule. They said, I'm going to practice 5 hours a day. I'm serious. I want to become a professional artist. I'm not messing around. I'm going to practice 5 hours a day. But I'm not going to like doodle and derp around for 5 hours a day. I'm doing like hardcore focused practice. I'm at the gym lifting weights, maxing it out. I'm fatiguing my pecs to the point where I can't even lift a weight, to the point where if I lift up my arm, I'm like, right? You know what that means? It means you're doing legs tomorrow because you can't lift your arms anymore. So you go back to the gym tomorrow and you do legs, right? And then you go back to the gym and you do your core, your abs. And oh, my pecs are better by now. I'm going back to the gym and I'm doing more bench presses,
You know,
push-ups. I'm doing, chest flies. I'm doing, every
Push-ups.
single day. And you're like, oh, my legs, I can't even walk. I guess it's arm day, right? Think about practice like that.
if you want to get really good.
If you want to become like a professional artist who's at like a really high level,
Like, we're not saying like everyone should
you
do
don't
this.
have to do this. This is contextual advice. This is advice where if your dream is to become a professional artist that works on games and movies and posters and illustrations, this is the way to do it. This is the way people do it. If you don't, if you want to be a hobbyist, whatever, totally fine. Nothing against it. There's literally nothing wrong with that. This advice on stream today is geared towards people who are just like, I'm going to be a professional artist. What is plein air? Plein air is painting from life, basically. Plein air is like, you go out and you paint a building in life from observation. It could be a digital plein air. It could be traditional plein air. This is big stuff.
Yep. You know, it could even be called like a systemizing your art practice.
Yeah,
Art practice system.
this is what people do. Like, this is it. Make friends. Go practice with them. If you need to, go to school. Like, you can figure out how to do this. That's why Kevin had such good progress improvement. Right? There you go. Is this required? No. Like, you could take longer. You could take less time. You could go more serious. I'm saying this is an example of what people have done very successfully. All right? And these are fun assignments.
Are the points pictured the things you should work on each day? Are the points pictured the things you should work on each day?
It's an example of some of them. Like,
Yeah.
there's more than this. This is just like a small list of stuff. You could do like color studies, and a lot of these aren't broken down. Like anatomy studies, you could do like upper body, you could do lower body, you could do legs, you could spend a week working on just learning like arm anatomy or neck anatomy or torso or back anatomy. Like, this is kind of just like a general suggestion, right? Figure drawing, like, how long are your figures? Are they 5 minutes? Are they 20 minutes? And like, figure drawing is so vague. I would say, like, you got to learn a process.
Yeah.
This
Are
is-
y'all on Twitch?
No, we're not streaming on
We
Twitch
are on
right
YouTube,
now.
though.
But we are streaming on YouTube.
Draw Anime Academy is our YouTube channel.
Right, a still life. Still lives are very good. Illustrations, like, this would be like personal art. I really recommend people do personal art that they genuinely find fun as much as they want. Right? Because all this stuff is going to feed into your personal art.
Well, it's like all these component skills go into the batch stuff.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's just like an art exercise suggestion. I'm kind of basing it on a channel that I used to watch a long time ago. They would go live every single Sunday. They would critique work, and they would basically help people who wanted to become like professional concept artists and illustrators. And they made this little thing a long time ago, and it said at the top, I will practice 5 hours a day. Like, that's what they did. And they would have like, each one of these was like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J.
You know, just
And
like
they would
that.
kind of just fill these in.
We could even do a stream where we like did an example of this.
And they would just like take one of these and they'd go, Monday. Here's Monday. I'm going to do an hour of figure drawing. I'm going to do an hour of master studies. And I'm going to do... And I think they had one that was like a 2-hour block. and it was like personal art, or it was like a personal exercise, and so they like drag it and they just like put it over 2 hours, because I'm a really, really big fan of doing personal artwork for fun.
It keeps things interesting and cute and
What was
fun.
the name of their channel? It was called Level Up. Levelupe. It's ancient now. It was like 2012, 13.
Is Master Studies about copying someone's professional art?
It's about like understanding the process. Like not all master studies are the same. You could study someone's work to understand their color usage. You could understand someone's work. Like you could do a master copy of like a famous statue, like from like Michelangelo. That could be. Do they not post their art anymore? Not really. They're all working professionals. Like Derek, one of the guys, he runs a school in Poland with another guy. Like he has an actual school, like in-person school. Last I checked, Jonas DeRoe moved to Japan, and he was working as like a senior concept artist at like who's the guys that make Final Fantasy? Square Enix.
Oh, okay. Oh, company. Okay.
And Wojtek, he's in like the movie industry now. They're super good. They're really high. They're really high level. But they don't run the channel. They ran it for a really long time. They did interviews with high level artists at pretty much every single week. They were super helpful. Yeah, they're very good. Yeah. This is a suggestion, by the way. You don't have to do this. There's no rules. If you don't want to do this, don't. If you do want to do this, you're allowed. Like, it's totally up to you. I'm not saying you have to do this. You can't do that. I went to a school that was like 16 hours a day of practice for a year. Are there other people that never went to that school that became professionals? Yeah, absolutely. Are there people who did a lot less? Yeah, for sure. You don't have to do this. This is just it's a good suggestion. Like if you're pretty serious about becoming a professional, this is good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to though. If you had to put someone through an art boot camp to get them to a professional level, would you have them do this? Yeah, probably. I mean, everybody's different. When I mentor students, because I've been doing mentorships for a long time, I have them do stuff like this. Generally, we focus in on more specific stuff. Like an 8-week mentorship is not long. Like you can't learn very much in 8 weeks. You can't cover 10 things in 8 weeks. Like you can cover like part of one thing in 8 weeks because there's just so much to learn in art.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for sure, this is like if you did this for 3 years, that would be 5 hours times what? 365 times 3. Like if you did this for 3 years, you'd have 1,800 hours of practice a year, and if you did that for 3 years, you'd have 5,400 hours of practice. So like it's a numbers game. But like this is really important. Like this right here is really important. It's like you can't shortcut your way through. And like good lessons. There's a lot of good lessons out there. You know, if you want to go the freemium route, you kind of have to deal with what you can find. It comes with its drawbacks. It comes with its good things. Again, you don't have to do this. Like I did. This is what I did. Not this exact thing, but like this kind of practice.
Yeah.
That's why I got hired professionally as a concept artist when I was 21. That's why I worked on a bunch of video games and theme park stuff for years before we started our anime academy. Like this works. Like it's not, you know, it took me more than 3 years. Like I took I kind of got serious when I was 18, but I wasn't good when I got hired. I learned a good process. And like I still don't really consider myself good, but I can work professionally. And you're gonna focus in on some of these things that are more specific to you. Like if you want to be a vehicle designer, you probably wouldn't do this one. you probably wouldn't do this one. You know, you'd probably do a lot of perspective studies. You'd probably do a lot of design sketching. Like, this is kind of more a suggested thing.
I want to do stuff like this.
Yeah, I wrote this up the other day because I actually want to get back into the grind. Like, it's fun.
I think your art's pretty great, Creme says.
Well, thank you. Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to do something graphic. I'm trying to do like checkerboarding on this one.
What a game changer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just those, like, couple things.
Just those couple things, and it's like, oh wow, it actually feels like a fun piece.
I'm becoming serious at 27. I'm dead set on becoming an artist. That's a similar age to my brother was when he started. My brother does concept art. He's been working professionally for years now. But I don't remember what age he was. Maybe 26, 27 when he first started getting into it. Are you using any reference? Christina's not using any reference right now.
No, I'm not. I would later. If I like this idea, that'd be like, okay, I can find reference for this, like what kind of pose or what kind of hand poses, like something more specific if I were to finish this. But right now I'm just thinking things purely graphically and trying to like do as much layering as I can.
You got hired in a studio. No, I didn't get hired in a studio at 21. I got hired on my first freelance job. I did theme park work, theme park design, for a studio called Super 78 in LA. I was designing a bunch of stuff like escape rooms, doing promotional artworks. It paid pretty well. Like, I think my starting rate was like $350 US a day.
Wow.
And I worked with them for a good while. There's a bunch of studios like that. Again, industrial design is pretty lucrative. Like, if y'all want to make bank in art, think about like industrial design as well. Don't close yourself off to that. You know, industrial design jobs pay good. Like, you can get 300, 400, 500, 600 a day, and you don't have to be like top level. Like, my starting rate when I was 21 was $350 a day, and that was in 2016. It'd definitely be higher as a starting rate now. Of course, it's freelance, so you're providing your own equipment and everything. But everybody's different. Like, I have friends who started in their 30s, and they're like top art directors now. Like Dan.
Yeah.
He started in his 30s. I met him after he was 30, when he was just first starting. He's an art director at like a big studio now. And he did it in like 5 years. Like, how long was it?
What job you just talking about? Were you just talking about industrial design?
Yeah, industrial design.
I think industrial design is very useful because you can learn how things work, and that's like really good for when you want to do your own projects. You're like, oh, I know how to draw this, I know how to draw that, and you just do a lot of drawing in industrial design. Was he self-taught? Who?
No, I went to school. I went to an industrial design school. There's more resources out there for teaching yourself than ever before. It's really good nowadays. I mean, we have an entire college online that teaches classes at that level that's way less expensive than college. Like, there are so many resources out there nowadays for learning. It's insane. James Gurney taught himself. He dropped out of Art Center. He didn't like it, and he left. James Gurney's a legend Proco, they interviewed him. They interviewed James Gurney on Proco's. I don't remember what that channel's called. It's where they do like interviews and stuff on. It's motivating. It goes to show to never give up on your dreams. I mean, it's pretty mathematical. If you, it's like this. If you go to the gym and lift the heaviest weight you can lift every single day, it is physically, and you eat plenty of protein and you maintain a decent diet, is physically impossible for you not to get stronger. It is simple. It is like basic biology. If you go to your piece of paper or your tablet and you do good quality exercises every single day, it is physically impossible for you not to get better at drawing. And it's just, there's so many different good exercises out there. Yeah, a lot of people dropped out of art school. Tons of people. I don't like to confuse education and school.
Yeah.
You can get a great education not in art school. I wouldn't even recommend most people go to art school.
It's like if you have the money and the resources that you can go there for a good long while and not be bankrupt, you know, it's not like it's bad to go there. I would say I would go there for the environment.
You know, I would add on that you need progressive overload. I said the heaviest weight you can lift. That would increase in weight as you get stronger. You go and you lift the heaviest weight you can lift until failure every single day. It is impossible for you not to get stronger as long as you're, you know, eating your protein, maintaining even a decent diet. Heck, you don't even really need a decent diet. You won't go down in weight, but you'll certainly get stronger.
Yeah. You'll still build muscle even though it may not be fat loss. Well, that's why like sumo wrestlers, they have a bunch of muscle underneath a lot of fat, but that's just cuz like that's their sport.
And it's how drawing works. Like you do your best every single day. It's impossible for you not to get better. You do good exercises, really like conscious practice. Would you recommend non-art schools that have the program you want? Not generally. I think a lot of colleges kind of make an obligatory program because they know they can make more money if they add more programs for popular topics. I would say look at current graduating students. Look at their work. Are they getting employed? What is the quality of their art? You'll find a lot of the time, if you look into a college, you're like, dang, I'm looking at this college because they've got a program for this. You'll look at the students' work and you'll be like, I'm better than them. Like, not even in a mean way. You're just like, wow, this is pretty abysmal. So if I go to this school, I don't feel like I'm going to get very much better. Like, you really got to think about it. It's like this conscious dynamic thing. It's not like a yes or no. It's like very contextual. If I were to look into a school and I was looking at the graduating students and none of them were getting jobs and none of them had very good art,
I'd be concerned.
that would be my answer. I would go, no way am I going there. Because it's a mathematical thing. Like, you put in a certain number of hours of practice at a certain quality, it's impossible for you not to get better. So if these students are graduating, then obviously the school's not doing a very good job getting them to do that thing.
And
You
I
look at,
also
like, a good school. What?
I'd also treat it like, you know, this is your career. This is going to be like your life for a good while if you're very serious about it. So treat it, be very picky.
Yeah.
Be very picky.
It's a very important thing. Be extremely picky. Don't accept anything below your standards. Like, I can't say if an art school is going to be good or bad. I know if their students are graduating and I don't think their work is great, I don't want to go to that school.
Yeah.
Like, why would I go to that school? Like, if there's schools A and B and one of them have phenomenal students and phenomenal progress and one of them doesn't, why would I ever go to the one that doesn't? That's just me personally. Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, it doesn't bother me. And I would find people who are working in the industry currently, actively, and see what they have to say. How do we check their students' art? See, that's the thing. Schools don't like showing it. You're going to have to send some emails. I would tour the campus. I would go talk to people. Again, this is like tens of thousands of dollars of debt potentially. Or this is like, okay, you're in a place where you get college for free. This is years of your life, which is even a bigger deal than getting into debt, in my opinion. If you're going somewhere that's like taking literally years of your life to get through, I better be like darn sure that I want to go there. I'm touring the campus. I'm talking to students. I'm emailing people. I'm adding
Due diligence.
I'm looking. It's due diligence. That's exactly what it is. Like, you gotta. I would put in the work. I would go to that campus and I would talk to everybody I could find. What program are you in? Are you in this program? Yeah, I was thinking about going to that program. What do you think about it? Right? Like, take control
Don't
of
lie.
your own, like, future.
Yeah.
Right? Take control of it.
I
Look at the work. And even if a school looks like they have amazing students, it's very deceptive sometimes. They'll have an amazing student or a couple of amazing students who graduated 8 years ago that didn't even like it, who were amazing before they ever went there. And
Yeah.
now they use them as the poster boy or girl for the school. And so you have to be really conscious. Always do your due diligence. Like, how many times do you hear, like, I went to art school, I'm $60,000 in debt, and I didn't learn anything. I had to teach myself. You hear it literally all the time. It's because people aren't doing due diligence. A lot of the time. Or they're just like, yeah, my parents really pressured me to go to school and this and that. And, like, you know, totally fine. It happens. And I'm specifically talking about, like, art school, right? And it's just, I can't imagine somebody would go to a school without doing due diligence. Proko has been a great alternative, someone who's done a bit of both because they have critique. Yeah, I mean, there's so many good resources out there. Proko's one of them. Proko's got great content. There's a million places with really good content that are super affordable. Yeah, like, how do you check their students' art? Be very proactive about it. Very proactive about it. Get out there, talk to people, go to the school, email, add them on Facebook, message them on Instagram, send them emails, ask them, what do you think? I'm thinking about doing this. As much as you can. It's completely free. It literally costs you nothing in order to do that. My guidance counselor was no help. Yeah, my guidance counselor in high school did every single thing in his power to try and talk me out of doing concept art, because back when I was getting into concept art, very few colleges that, like, sponsored my high school did anything like that. He was like, well, what about this art program? I'm like, that's not anything about concept art. Well, what about this one? They, like, he, like, had this list of schools that he had to send. I went to a high school that was well funded, and in order to keep their funding, they had to have students that were graduating and going to good colleges, right? And so they have, like, this vested interest in sending students to quote good colleges, even if it's against the student's interest. So you have to be really careful. Like, you know, the schools are a business a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen. It certainly happened with me. My high school counselor tried everything to convince me not to go to the school that I went to. I was like, yeah, there's this trade school in Singapore that I want to go to, that I'm going to go to. And he's just like, oh, well, what about going to a college first and then going to that school? Like, they did everything they could to try and get me into a college that was, like, on the list.
On the list, because I mean they're being paid to advertise that.
Like, they have pride in their school. They want to keep their school
clean.
top 2 in the state or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's like it's very gamified. What brush are you using? You can download it for free on our website, drawanime.com. I like when her face is in light, honestly.
Me too. I'll just keep it like this. It's kind of a fun piece.
Mm-hmm.
I would finish it.
The brush.
Oh, no, oops. Here we go. Drawanime.com, that is our website. The green button. You can also find our Discord server and our classes there. I try to draw a complete piece once a week since I'm always very busy. I can't draw every day. Hey, that's good.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Maybe, I think that maybe psychological when I draw on the iPad, I just don't really get that stressed. Like, if I'm doing this on my Cintiq, I'm like, my hands stiffen up too. So, maybe it's just because I gotta draw on the iPad.
My counselor had told me art was not actual or stable career. Tell that to my friend who made like $600,000 doing concept art the other year. He literally made so much money, he was able to buy a house in Korea and an apartment in the city. He's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school with him. He was my classmate. We were both like beginners when we went into school too. You can make so much money doing art, it's not even funny. You have to be pretty business savvy and intelligent. Like when you make money doing anything, you're opening the can of business.
Yeah.
Art is like, I draw pretty pictures. Making money from art is like, someone has to pay me to do art, and that opens up the business side of stuff. It's an inevitability. Like, it's just part of how it works. You could get in a company and they handle maybe some of the business side for you. That's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. And there's no rules either. Like, if someone will pay you to do it, you can make a living out of it. Like, that's the thing. Like, there isn't a list of jobs. There isn't like a list of ways to make a living. Like, high schools and schools really like to, in my opinion, they really like to push this idea that there's like this list of jobs, or like, well, that's not really a career. That's not even true. That doesn't exist. Like, you can literally create a job out of thin air if you can create people wanting something and willing to pay you for it. Like, that is like, if you can make a living doing something, if people will pay you to do something, you can make a job out of it.
Yeah.
There isn't a list. It's not a list. Like, the world is full of people walking around with money in their pockets.
Abundance mindset.
Like, that's how it is. And like, you can create a service doing art where people are really, really, really happy with what you've done and are just like, dang, that was a steal.
I
There's
mean,
people charging hundreds to help you pick a name for your baby. And the crazy thing is, the people who are getting helped are super happy. There's like no scam going on. It's about, like, I wouldn't do that personally. I don't have an interest in it. But like, when you're upfront about what you're delivering and people are happy with it, there's no scam.
Yeah.
You have happy customers, right? Now, some people would say commissions are a scam, right? I would disagree with them. Like, some people would go, oh my gosh, they charged you for a picture of your fictional character that doesn't exist. Like, oh my gosh, that's a scam.
I would never buy something
There's
like that.
a lot of grandmas out there or parents out there that would go, oh, people shouldn't pay for commissions. It's like, it's all
opinion.
Like, people have different industries. People have different interests. People have different things that they value. But like, I always hated this idea that there was a list of careers. And my high school was like, here's the list. Pick one of these things, you go to school for it, and then you make a living off of it.
That's your future. It's like,
and it's like, there is no list. Like, I mean, there's a list that they made, and you can make a living doing those things, but it's not so black and white. It's like, if there are people out there who are willing to pay you to do something you can make a living off of it. YouTube, like YouTube was a thing that didn't exist before YouTube, right? It was never on a list. It's crazy. Like TikTok, like you literally got people out there ranking like peanut butter and making a living off of it. Like I'm telling you, it's so crazy these days. It's crazy. You got people who are making a living doing everything these days.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. You got like people under 20 who are like making a living doing stuff, and jobs come and go. Like that's totally fine. Well, it's not a sustainable career. It's like, well, it's a career right now. And who's to say what a sustainable career is? Like there's tons of careers that get knocked out all the time. People used to think like taxi drivers was a really stable career, right? And it's like, oh, Uber.
Oh, Uber, yep.
Like, and I don't agree with that. Like I think there's a lot of businesses that come up that kind of destroy industries, but job security is largely a thing of the past. There's still some. I'm scared of AI just going to take over art. I'm not. I'm really not. And the reason is because like what I was just talking about. If there are people out there that are willing to pay you to do something, you can make a living doing it. And I don't think that AI is going to make it so those people don't exist anymore. I think it's going to change things, but I don't think that AI is simply going to remove people who want to hire real artists, like altogether.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening.
Well, it's not so black and white like that either. It's like there's gonna be an audience.
Yeah,
You know?
I definitely see it changing the industry, and I think that artists are going to have to shift and adapt and change what they're doing, but I don't think art as a job is just going to poof,
Go away
Like-
completely.
vanish. I don't think it will. I think things are going to change a lot, but I don't think it's just going to poof.
Yeah.
But it's totally valid. Like that's totally a valid concern. I get it. But I draw because I like it. Like making a living comes behind what I like.
Yeah.
Like my non-negotiable is I have to do what I love. And then after I do what I love, I'm like, okay, now I got to make a living doing it. And there's principles of business, there's principles of marketing, there's principles of, you know, building offers and providing value that allow you to make that give you a bit high chance of being able to make a living doing almost anything. It's not easy, like I mean, stinking hard, you know, but what's not hard?
Yeah.
I'm really not trying to tell anybody that it's like easy. I'm just saying it's doable. And easy is kind of relative, right? Like I think it would be less easy to work a job that I don't like at all and try to and have this doom mentality of I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. Started learning to draw 3 months ago and struggling drawing the human body. Are there any tips you have? Figure drawing.
Figure drawing. A lot of figure drawing. Proportion is going to be your best friend. I would say before you learn any anatomy, learn the forms of the body. And sometimes what I even like to do, like just for funsies, is like draw two people. 2B people. Like literally just simplify arms into flowy tubes.
To be like
Tubes.
what's
Like-
his name? Asaro.
Asaro, yeah. Like legs are tubes.
It's a very gestural approach.
Very gestural. Like if you want to go like, if you struggle with stiff poses, like you can just simplify your bodies like this. You know, here's your torso. Your torso can be a tube. You know, that's where we teach mannequins in our classes for the costume drawing class, because a lot of time you won't really need anatomy,
Yeah.
right? Here's, and you know it's funny because old Disney animations used to have a lot of tubular people because it's very gestural. So who says you can't do it, you know? And as long as you get the proportions right, you can always like straighten things up. But this is great for flow. This is great for keeping things really, you know, lifelike. Feels very simple. No anatomy needed. Like that.
I don't want to imply in any way that you can't prioritize something that you think is secure. Like I don't want to act like my way is better in any way. Like if you go to college for something because you're like oh, I want to be in an industry that's stable, like I think that's totally valid. I don't have anything against it.
What is the fundamentals of art? Well, fundamentals. Let me just write this all down. Fundamentals of art include figure drawing, drawing people. If you want, of course, like there'll be different types of fundamentals for different genres. If you're going for more like just like a general route, like you want to do a bunch of variety of things, and it includes people, figure drawing would be one of them. Dimensional drawing, meaning just perspective. This is basically like pillars that make art feel believable. Dimensional drawing. What was it? Color theory. This is not in any particular order. I'm just listing off the things that I'm remembering. Color theory, understanding how color works, how light works, so rendering / lighting. And this is all the stuff that we teach in our anime art school. So you don't have to go search for those videos. What else is there, Colton? Figure drawing, dimensional drawing, costume, clothing.
Like there's a bunch
There's
of
just a
them.
bunch,
There's a bunch of different
painting.
component skills.
Yeah.
Tammy, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even
know.
recognize your name. What is the fundamentals of art? Yeah, there's a bunch of different things, and different industries will kind of have different fundamentals. Like, if you want to design cars and draw cars for a living, there's fundamentals of that. Like how many wheels apart are cars? Where do the seats go? How much do you have to be able to see out? Where does the steering wheel go? Like most people would never have to learn those fundamentals unless you're in that specific industry. So like it's kind of contextual. I would say one of the most core is dimensional drawing, like perspective.
Yeah, perspective is, I would say,
Like dimensional drawing is massive.
yeah.
Pretty much everything you're ever going to want to draw is going to be in 3D in some way, or have some sort of an illusion of depth. And like if you want to draw people, you're going to want to know figure drawing and like anatomy and stuff.
But like dimensional drawing is like, you can do a bunch of stuff with dimensional drawing. You can do figure drawing, you have to know how to draw dimensionally in order to render and light. Clothing, you need to know how to do dimensional drawing for that too.
Yeah.
Are you guys planning on looking through the crit submissions today? Are we?
I don't know. Yeah, Ella, we're live on YouTube right now. Our channel, Draw Anime Academy.
I feel like at this stage, I feel like this illustration works pretty well. I wonder if I should widen it more. Maybe.
I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think this kind of long format looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at this point I would probably do more research, like, you know, what is this back thing right here? Like, is it like a console, and what kind of is it like drawers?
Mm.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I can look.
we do have some crit submissions, don't we?
I can look. Submissions. Oh, very nice. And for some reason this one isn't loading. Create all my colors. I'd love to learn how to paint like these examples, but I don't know how to even start or even practice. They're so insanely gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this allows.
Oh. What are crit submissions? It's a channel in the Discord server that we opened for people to submit artwork that we can critique on stream.
I would say a lot of these is just the stylization of the fundamentals.
Yeah, like it's kind of the same thing that you're doing already.
Yeah. Like, what I would do is I would write notes. Like, I would take this piece and I would be like, okay, I would turn it black and white and think, okay, what are their values that they're using? They're using a lot of very low contrast and also very pastel, not super saturated except for some bits. And I would like reverse engineer it. You know, they use a lot of gradients, it looks like. They use a lot of color shifts in their art. Like, here's like some bounce light, but instead of using like the warmth, they use some pink, you know, which is more of a stylistic choice.
Well, this is a really, really high-key painting.
Yeah.
The last one.
Oh, oops, sorry.
This is a really, really, really high-key painting. It exists in the upper range of your light values, almost exclusively except for the hair. If you look at this painting and you turn it black and white, almost the entire painting exists in like 20% to 10% to white. And then only on the characters do they get darker, like 30%. The darkest thing in the entire image is like this dark right here. It's really not about the colors. It's about controlling the values. The colors are distracting.
Yeah.
The colors are not the important thing. The colors are really, really not the important thing in this piece.
Whoa, that's kinda sick.
They're using these really pale, they're using these really, really pale colors. They're using colors that aren't dark. Like, they're using these nice pastels. Like, everything is in the very, very light value range, all right? But the more important thing is the separation of the light and dark. They've separated, I'll just do this. They've separated their lights and darks, and they're doing what we were talking about yesterday, right? They've got like dark, and now their dark, their logic for this shot is that their dark is like 20%. It's not black. It's like not 50%. It's like 20%. So this is a dark on a light, on a dark, on a light, on a dark. They're checkerboarding, right? They're checkerboarding a lot. They're reserving their dark values for the focal point. Like, it's a very well done piece, right? Color is not why this piece works. It's very well made from like an underlying point of view, right? There's separation of light, right? There's separation of light and dark. Like, these shapes work well. These are just good shapes. This shape is good. That shape right there is done very well. Pay special attention to these shapes, how they're sculpting them, right? How they're building them. Like, pay attention to this little curve right here. That happens when there's a cast shadow. You tend to get a curve, right? If you cast a shadow over a cylinder, or if you cast a shadow over something, a lot of the time you'll get this shape, and then you'll go into the core. And so all they're really doing is they're going, here's my dark, here's my light, and they're still playing with these same principles, right? And they'll go, oh, whatever. They've got like this very light sphere, right? They're still working with these exact same principles. It's just they've restricted their value range a lot. They're drawing the box, like the box that I did earlier that I was explaining. They're doing that. But if they were to draw the box, their box would probably look something like this.
Like a little mock-up.
Yeah, like they're separating the sides of their shapes, of their box, of their forms with these types of colors, right? And I would even want to put a white background behind this.
So it's easier to see.
Oops. Come on. Let me just do this. You know, we could put a white background on this. Like, they're doing the same things. They're doing the checkerboarding. They're doing the perspective, the composition, the focal point with the face, with the darker values. They're just working in like really, 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 really high key. But it's not about, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? So if you want to draw like them, restrict your value range, all right? Go, oops, here's white, here's black. They're literally drawing inside of like, this isn't a very good gradient, but
Drawing in there.
do your entire picture inside of here,
With a little bit of...
and then put this as your focal point.
I don't know who the artist is.
I don't know, they didn't provide it, but that is how you do it. Make your entire image in this range and choose like 3 colors. Here's a color. Here's a color. We need a light. Here's a color. Use these colors, render your box in this value range with these colors, and you end up getting something that looks like this, right?
So it's also reserving the most extreme values for the focal point.
I mean, that's what they did. You don't have to, but yes, that's what they did. If you want your work to look like that, that is what they did. If you turn this piece black and white, the darkest is only in this character in the front. And then the second darkest is like, where am I? Right? Oh, I'm probably selected something. There we go. Right? Darkest, right here. There's nothing else in the entire shot that's dark. What about the shoes? Nope, doesn't get that dark. This spot on the hair right here is the only spot in the entire image that gets that dark. Everything else is only in like this very, very, very upper range. See, these are really pale colors. So by definition, you can't use blue. Why? Because it's darker. If I took this blue, this specific blue, right? This blue, you can't use it. Why? Because it's a darker value than anything else. Maybe you could just use it right here. It's even still darker than what they chose. So based on the values, the only colors you can use are in the very, very, very pale range and yellow, right? Let's see yellow. Yeah, yellow works. It's a value that would fit within their value range. So your entire scene gets rendered in this range, which excludes reds, vibrant reds. It excludes blues. It excludes purples. If I wanted to make a purple that was this light, I would have to add white. That's the only way. You can't get a purple that's this light without adding white to it. So they're like I said, they're really doing the same thing. They're just kind of constricting their value ranges. And I wouldn't really know exactly, let's see. So like if I wanted to make this piece, for example, like that, I would have to And this is a really nice piece, by the way. And I'm not saying this is like correcting it in any way, but if you wanted to make this piece like that, you would have to make everything super duper pale, right? You'd have to really reduce everything, and you could only use values, or you could only use colors that actually fall within that value range. And I'm not saying you were trying to do this with this piece, right? You can't use any of these because they're too dark. You'd have to add pale colors. You could add a pale blue. You could add pale all there. And they're actually operating, they're making a pretty vibrant piece, you know?
Yeah. Pretty high saturation on some of the stuff. Like the
Yeah.
teal is very high saturation.
Could you explain the line work on that piece? I mean, it's pretty subdued, right? It looks like they're using like a purplish line work, like maybe something like this, right? Obviously, my canvas doesn't have nearly the resolution, but it looks like their line work's just pretty subdued. It's very, very. It's not bold. Like they're not going in here like that. This piece reads off of values, not line. Like if
Yeah.
you look at it, it's not reading off of the lines. It's reading off of the values.
Well, you'll even notice that in the crevices up in those corners up there, that's lighter. It's like normally people would be like, well, shouldn't those be darker? But since this is such a low contrast image, I think
Yeah.
it actually makes more sense to actually make the line work lighter to pop out those shapes. And
Yeah.
in this, I feel like with this artist, like they don't really care about, like correct, quote unquote, standard correct values. They care about the shapes.
Yeah, I don't think that this artist would make a decision to do this. I think most people would do that.
Yeah.
This artist didn't, because they're really constricting their value range. You can tell this pillar right here is darker than this pillar. It's just
Very
their
subtle.
entire value range that they're using is like inside of this area. That's their entire value range. So they're going foreground, midground, background, right? They're not using white to black. They're using like white to 20%, which is totally legit. A lot of artists do that. It's very, very effective.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks great. So like I would say, if you want to paint more like this artist, I would do studies of their work. Like break them down. I don't want to say like scientifically, but like in a way.
Reverse engineer it.
And their perspective, it's not too bad. They probably used some 3D to help with some of these things. Like these shapes are really, really hard to get. I'm guessing they built some of this out in 3D to start. Like these pillars, this shape right here, that shape right there, like you probably want to build out like a simple block out in 3D. I find adding that color variation inside the same value, if that makes sense, very hard. Color variation inside the same value. Like the blue to the pink, like this kind of stuff. Yeah. They kind of have a logic to it, right? It's basically getting cooler as it goes up. I learned a tip from Nathan Fowlks a long time ago. He said, whenever you see some complicated color, it's usually just a disguised gradient. So look for gradients. You're going like pink to blue. So if I were to do this piece, I would go like, okay, maybe we've got like a pink, like a really pale pink, and then you end with like a blue. And then you're kind of just like making a gradation between that, like this. And then you can like mix it up inside of there a little bit, right? Like we can have some more of that. We can have it maybe like move a little bit more purple in there. But essentially it's just a gradation between pink and blue. And then they mix it up, right? They add texture, they add different stuff like that.
Very pretty.
You know, they add some blue in their pink. But the most important thing is they're keeping... We have no music anymore.
We don't. Yeah, I noticed.
they're keeping their values really under control. So like they're taking that yellow and they're going, that stays the bright. No matter what, I'm not breaking that. That stays bright. No matter what I do in here with the colors, as long as I don't mess up that value structure, this stays bright. Could probably even be less saturated than that. It's probably more like this. Stays bright. Who did this Venti art? I don't know. They didn't give
actually,
a
they
user.
did
Did
earlier. Yeah, it's kind of up. Artist is Ianon Iterator on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
Or
you
X.
can look at the chat for that.
It's by Lau's. It's Lau's comment.
There you go. Right. This honestly, to me, feels just like a little bit pinker. What am I doing? I'm working with Q. There we go. Right. It feels like a little bit pinker to me. So they've got this gradation. Honestly, it would probably be more like this because it's going from that to that. I will leave it blue. But if you look at it in values, you see like there's not a lot of value change going on between here and there. Like there is a little bit, but it's not a lot. Lights, darks, keep them separate. Where is my music, bro?
There we go.
Where's Baba? There it is. It almost has like a watercolor look to it. You know what I mean? It kind of feels similar to like watercolor.
Yeah, and the other artists also have that kind of similar vibe where it's low. It's like not super dark, high, pretty high key.
Yeah. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Do it. Let's see. Let's see some other people's work. Wait, what? Okay. I was looking at this one, Emmys, if they're here. I think I saw them earlier. This has potential. Very, very cool. And if you're here, I'll probably do a bit of a paint over. There you go. There you are. I was looking at this one and I was like, you know what? I don't even have it prepared. I really like it. I think you said that you're struggling with coloring from imagination. This kind of lighting I would try to find reference for because it's just gonna be easier for you. Like I know that you want to try it from imagination, but I also think that when you have the reference, you can find certain shapes that would make it feel believable. And I think understanding the basic planes of the hand and the face would work really good. Like what I do is I would be like, okay, I would imagine, let me do this. I'll be like, okay, here's a hand, here's the box. My brush is being weird. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm using a different brush than usual. And I'd be like, okay, if this, I want to think of ratios with my lighting. This looks like it's about 30% light, 70% dark. And you kind of got that here. But I think that with this hand, it looks a little bit like we could distribute the shapes a bit better. Okay, I hate when Procreate does that.
Ow.
Are you okay?
Yes.
So I'd be like, okay, here's the front of the box. Here's the side of the box. Front of the box will have light. Side of the box will have dark. I would treat this the same way with the hair. So like here will be in light, which is on this side because your light is coming from the top our right. So I'm gonna put a little light like this. And it looks like you also have a bit of rim lighting as well. But I would omit all this personally because even if it is beautiful, I feel like it's a bit too streaky, and which could end up distracting your viewer because you want them to look at this, right? So I'd go and either just subdue it or remove it. I would probably subdue it because look at that. Now we subdued that. Now we can look at this a little bit better. We can subdue this, subdue that. And I would even go in and just say, hey, let's look at a reference that has a sweater in a neon lighting. Oh, that's sick. And so sweaters will have very specific shapes as well. Especially if you're painting from imagination, their shapes will kind of look like this. So pretend that this is your sweater. Their folds aren't necessarily super thin. They're actually very thick. And so if I'm lighting it from this angle, I will see a lot of like large masses of light instead of streaks. And not only that, but like I would draw the folds as it's rolling over. So like I'm thinking this. Okay, here's this one fold rolling over. Here's this rolling over. And okay, here's like a little pocket of cloth that's going to be in shadow, right? And then I will design my lights and my darks to mimic this, like what I'm seeing underneath.
Like Notan.
Like Notan, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
And
like,
there's like
this
a
will be-
logic to this as well.
Yeah.
So the logic behind this artwork is like this.
Yeah.
You've got the black, the blue, and the pink. And so you're essentially restricting yourself to 3 values. Hold up.
Yep, no problem. I was shading that in.
You're restricting yourself to 3 values. You've got the black, the blue, the pink. So this would be a 3 value piece. So you would essentially simplify all of the lighting into 3 values. And you could have like a primary, like maybe the black is the primary, right? And the blue is like fill light, and then the pink is anything in light. And so you would create this logic that you would retain throughout your entire piece. Of course, it would be like artistically interpreted.
Yep.
So that would be the logic. And so you know any form that's light, that gets hit by light, is going to be pink. Anything that's dark is going to be the black.
Yeah.
But then the reflections or the highlights on the hair is probably going to be pink, right? It's almost like you take a photo and you put a filter on it to just restrict it to 3 different values.
Yep. So I would take out those really bright streaks.
It's a 3 value painting. You're just kind of using color. I would actually turn it black and white and make
Yes.
sure that it reads really well in black and white.
I'm gonna go and do this. Color. There we go. It's a very, very low value piece. In fact,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I check and be like, where do I want the light to be? Predominantly probably towards this side. And this side will probably be in dark or have like very, very low values. Keep it organized. I like what you did here. And pardon me, I'm just gonna take out those markings because I like to add markings like after. That's more personal preference. I like what you did here. Feel like that makes sense. If you want some Rembrandt lighting, you would get some sort of nice little triangle right here. So that's kind of like based on portrait lighting. You could also do it based off of that. And I would drastically just start simplifying. Like all this, I'm just gonna use this purple. No in-betweens. Because that's more like lit for later, right? I just want to get this reading in about 2 or 3 values. You did the hand very well here. This can be dark, can be black, because I want there to be a separation between the face and the neck. And then the sleeve here, it's totally fine to add some of this pink. We would just need to soften it because sweaters like really, really soft lighting. They don't like to get really sharp. So I would go in. Yeah, no problem. Oh, did you? And I would also not use pure pink for the sweater because soft sweaters don't really like to change value that much unless you have a very good argument for it. So if like the light is very close to the sweater, it won't, unless it's very close to the sweater, it won't be that pink. It would actually be more of like a softer, you would basically take a softer opacity and just blend that into the blue. And as we talked about earlier, there's going to be like softer folds and larger masses. I'm going to take this color because I like this color. Alright, so now, well, I would need reference for like a sweater. So let me see here. Sweater. sweater, neon, photo shoot. Let me see if that would be a good vibe. Oh yeah. Now this isn't exactly, may not be exactly the image, but it's got a good information for like how light and darkness would be, you know, would affect a soft material. So like, yes, there's some sharp edges, but a lot of it is very soft and a lot of it is very large as well for the lit side. So I would even go in and just kind of use that as a bit of reference, or I would probably find a better one. Let me just find something here. Oh, this is fun. Maybe. Look at all these shapes, very specific shapes that occur. I would do kind of like micro studies of this. It's kind of hard because there isn't like a specific reference that would mirror it exactly, and that is the challenging part, right? So that's why I would draw the folds first. Wrap it around. How is it rotating around the arm? And then I would design my lights with this in mind. So now it feels more like a soft sweater, right? And I would use the same treatment for this arm right here. And this is me personally, but I like to poke out the shoulder rather than cover it all in hair because I want to see the body, how it's being posed. This is more like information and it's more of a stylistic choice. I like that you have really, really fluffy hair and I love the silhouette of it. This is just completely personal preference. But I like showing like, okay, if I see this arm here, but where's the shoulder? It kind of creates a missing gap in the mystery to me. So I like to just imply that to make my viewer feel a little bit more like at ease. Like, okay, her shoulder's not gone. But totally up to you. You know, we can always add more hair, silhouetting it over the shoulder to still achieve that effect. I would take out these lines. I know it's a stylistic choice, but hair doesn't like to get streaky like that. They like to form in clumps, especially highlights. So, and this comes with a lot of studying. This comes with a lot of like getting photos or getting paintings and just seeing where they place their lights, where they place their darks. That will help a lot. I do like all this, so I will keep that the same. For me personally, really sharp edges like this for hair, especially with huge contrast, can be distracting. So what I would go in and I would just start like kind of blending some of these edges a little bit or softening the edges a little bit and maybe not making them super tiny, because tiny shapes tend to be very in my opinion tend to be very distracting because it's like, look at me, I'm very, very tiny. So I would minimize it, just use them as accents. And we can still add some tinier strokes, but use them as a tool to bring it to closer to the face. So here, what I'm doing is I'm putting smaller strokes, but it's along the blue, which actually makes it so that it's lower contrast, but you still see that texture. So it's not in your face, but it's still there. I do like this part right here, so I'm going to keep that. And I don't like how I did this part. I'm just going to take out those. And you can always add back in the markings, but I would keep the markings like maybe a little bit more subtle. Like I would blend this black into the purple, and then I would also lighten it because markings, especially on skin, will also be affected by the light. So if I use pure black on this, it won't feel natural. It'll feel like, okay, it's like this marking was painted by pure black. But if I want it to be like a scar or like on the skin, it would change in value. So I'm gonna just go in and roll this over the form and make it just slightly darker than the pink. Now it feels like the light is affecting the marking. Let's see. Same with the lips, you know. I like the lips here. And I would take this value and push it to the other side. A little bit of highlight in there. So, because she has lip tint on, right? So it doesn't disappear when it's in the light. it would still appear in the light, just slightly more subdued than the dark. And I would leave a little highlight. Now it feels a little bit clearer. Let me just go back to the original and just see. Okay, there's another scar. So I want to keep it true to the original. So notice how I'm keeping this scar very dark. In fact, this scar is basically the same value as the shadow. And on this side, we can use the same dark and just plant another marking right in here. But it doesn't take away from the image. Oh, thanks, Tia. Yeah, neon is tricky, especially with stuff like this. So keeping your lights consistent, keeping your midtones consistent, keeping your darks. Like, I like that you use the silhouette of the hair as complete dark. So I would keep that. Let me just go in and do a little bit of a test. Because I like this here, but I made this too messy. So I'm just gonna go and put a blob on all this. You know what's funny? Some hair will actually have like some kind of secondary highlight. So maybe there could be like some kind of blue fill light, and their blue can show up as a highlight in the hair. Oh, I think that's kind of cool. And you can use this as an opportunity to show maybe some more information in the hair. But I would kind of be a little bit smart about it, because you don't want to take away. So I would keep it very subtle like this. Carve, carve. It's like maybe the highlights can transition into that pink. These highlights in here, I would subdue. So we can still see that there's eyelashes, but it's not like as the same value as the background. But I would probably keep these eyes the same value, because I want people to look at it. Let me see, what if I added a highlight? Not this bright, but maybe like a little bit. Another thing that you can do is you can add another like accent color that's not like your actual piece, like maybe even a yellow, to bring it closer to the focal point. So like if you really want someone to look at their eyes, you can put a highlight and make it a different color. Maybe, if that's what you want to do. Hey, stuff, maybe. But I don't think I'll add it. Maybe I'll add like a tiny hint of it, like on the side here, to make you look at this more. I can add a little bit of this brighter pink on the edge here, because I do like how you did that earlier with this wrist, and I want to emulate that on the other side, but I'll keep it soft. So let's do a little before and after. So I think main thing is get rid of those distracting lines, or you can just mainly subdue them, and then I feel like you want to pay attention to the face. So you can try that if you want. That's my TED Talk. So you can take a screenshot of this if you want. Me personally, I would probably add some kind of dark in here. That's me personally, but I'll keep it like very subdued. A lot of art is like nuance. Like you don't want to go too extreme, but you also don't want to like be too subtle. It's like a balance. It's stylistic balance. Well, we can take it from there, Colton, if you want.
Sure. Dolly, are you here? Bump, 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 bump.
Yep, they're here.
Awesome. Well, this is, I went ahead and started on a little bit of a paint over. So a while back, Dahlia did an artwork, and this was the artwork right here. And I think she redid it. I did a redraw, really struggling with background. So she did this one originally, And then she redid it, and this is the new one. So it looks like you're getting your horizon line, your sky, your ground, your characters are intersecting your horizon line and everything. And so, struggling with backgrounds. So I guess Dahlia does not do any painting or backgrounds or anything. So the thing about painting and backgrounds is generally, it's very graphical. Okay, so I started a little paint over here for this piece. And I didn't work on the characters at all or anything, but if I'm going to help with backgrounds, what tends to happen with backgrounds is I'm trying to get some lighting information in there. So you could light this shot in any way. You could have it as a gradient, kind of like I did, where it's like shadow in the foreground, like this. And then as it goes further back into space, it could get into light, like this. If there's like a cloud and the cloud is casting a shadow, and maybe it kind of comes over and gets lighter as you go back into the distance. So I'm thinking like maybe there's a cast shadow of a cloud coming down here. But anyways, I found a couple of little images online. This one, I'm kind of thinking something along the lines of this, right? So like this right here. Maybe we have a gradient, and this looks like it goes from kind of a cool to a warm. I sort of like that effect there. And also another thing is that trees a lot of the time will vary in color a lot. Like you can really play up this variation in the color. Like you'll have some that are warmer. We actually noticed this on the way to the store recently. Like there would be overlapping trees on the side of the road, and they kind of looked like this. Or I could even do something like that. And they would all have color variation to them. In fact, they would have so much color variation that one of them would be like green, the next one would be like this color, and then the one after that would be like maybe like a cooler color. So you get a lot of this type of stuff going on when painting trees. So if you want to like overlap trees and make things look interesting, I would suggest adding some variation in the colors of the trees. So like we could make one that's, am I on the right layer? There we go. You know, you could add one that's like quite a bit more warm. And we could have one that's, you know, a little bit cooler coming out. And we can sort of overlap them and use different shapes in order to get that. Now, a lot of the time underneath of trees is actually kind of warm because there's a lot of like dead branches and stuff that builds up. I learned that from David Dibble. He's an artist, a really good oil painter. I'll find his art really quick. David Dibble. He has a good lesson on YouTube about painting trees. His work is really nice. Let me selected archive. Is this it? Yeah, here's some of his artwork. And he's an oil painter. He paints a lot of really great stuff. It's super fantastic. These are all traditional oil paintings.
So good.
Very nice work. Like you can see, there we go. These are really nice paintings. He has some lessons. He actually worked in the industry as well as a concept artist, funny enough. He's primarily like a fine artist. But he did a lesson on YouTube. His name is David Dibble, D-I-B-B-L-E.
I like his
And he
name.
has some lessons and stuff online, but you can tell that this guy's doing the same thing that we're always talking about, which is he is designing shapes like crazy. Like these are really, really well-designed shapes. Really well-designed shapes in here. And he's basically just working in like 3 values for the most part. You've got like value 1, value 2, and value 3. Lots of overlaps, lots of shapes being created. But anyways, I learned about that from him, and he's always talked about how a lot of the time underneath of trees will actually be more brown. So even if you have warm lighting and cool shadows, you can do something like that. We could create some bushes in here as well. And maybe even just grab like a much cooler... I'm on the wrong layer, aren't I? Let's see. Where am I? I just make so many layers when I do this. It's ridiculous, isn't it? I'll just do this. Is that the right layer? Yeah. Could
Maybe
come
you
in
should get
here.
more layers.
We could make this cooler. So really, really play with your warm and cool. Play with warm and cool. Play with your silhouettes. You can create a bush in here. Maybe I don't want it that dark. There we go. Create a bush in here, you know, and sometimes I'll just like select out some of the ground. Do stuff like that. We want to get in a lot of overlaps. Again, it depends on what kind of environment this is, right? I'm kind of going based on what you were doing, which is it's grass and there's like trees or those are like trees or mountains or something in the background. So I'm sort of just creating a little bit of a tree line in the background, and this is going to have some texture to it, and then we can go and just fill this in maybe with something like that. There we go. So one thing about environments is that as things get further away, the shapes get compressed. So in an environment like this, we're really going to be playing with shapes like this, right? Closer to the horizon line, it's going to be thinner. Further from the horizon line, it's going to be thicker. And this tends to happen pretty exponentially a lot of the time. So if I create like a patch of grass or something in here, like maybe I'll make it kind of thick, right? Like a large-ish shape. But as I go into the background, maybe this patch of grass is a lot thinner. And so I get these sort of strips in here. This happens a lot in environments, right? And as I get even further into the background, my strips might even get like thinner, like that thin. So I could draw a couple strips in there, and it'll sort of just help to create that illusion of depth. Not all of your shapes are going to be this thin. It's mostly just like you'll notice like this shape of these trees, it's really thick, but that's because it's a tall shape. This is like a shape that's on the ground, so they tend to get really thin as they get further. You could come back in here and, you know, add some little imply, that sort of thing as you get further on. Trees like to stay pretty dark. Trees are pretty dark. The value doesn't change too much when they're hit by light a lot of the time. Like, trees are pretty dark shapes.
By the way, Dahlia, I really like the alpha designs. Very nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. You know, I don't know what kind of trees exactly you want to put in here. But, you know, we could add like a little variation. Maybe we could add like a cooler tree, temperature wise, back in there. Like, break up these silhouettes with different types of shapes. You know, it could be a maple tree, it could be an oak tree. It really doesn't matter. Do a little bit of research and like look at some types of trees. You know, we could put a tall one there, a shorter one next to it. Maybe we could have this tall one here break the silhouette and give it some personality. Maybe it's like tilting a little bit. It's like Bob Ross stuff, right? And we could do something along the lines of that. Maybe this one will get like brighter as it gets up there. Let's say maybe there's a rock in front. Couple rocks, and a lot of your depth in landscapes is going to come through overlaps, and your overlaps are going to be contextual based on what is actually in this scene. Like, what do you want to be in this scene? And then I would just really break a lot of this stuff down geometrically. You know, we could put some rocks, and then maybe we put another rock in front of that one, and then maybe we put another rock back here. And a lot of these overlaps are going to happen in different ways depending on what you're painting exactly. You could come back in here and create an even smaller scale stuff. And I'm kind of making like generic mountains and stuff. It's not like I would probably look up specific references. You know, you could even go, maybe they've got something interesting back there in the distance, like a more interesting mountain, and maybe the mountain's got like snow on it on one side
I love that cloud.
going into the distance. Maybe behind this mountain actually just got like the sky. I'm gonna I would probably sculpt out these shadows a bit better. The value range is getting kind of yucky. Could do that. I don't really like that mountain. I'm not gonna do. Can I? Nope, I can't hold it down, can I?
I wish you could.
I could probably set it so it would be continuous undo. There you go.
Yeah, the background looks way better, Dolly, after you draw over. Looks great.
Yeah, like you redid it and it honestly feels
more
really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of adding random, like, generic decisions and stuff here and there. I don't think that... Like, it really depends, right? You could even put, like, a tree here, if you want, in more the foreground, and this will create a lot of...
I'm gonna have a little snacky.
Sure.
You want a snacky?
Nah. But I might want to wrap up kind of soon. You know, you could put a tree in the foreground, or it could even probably be more like... I'd probably want to block in the silhouette and then start thinking, what are the volumes actually doing as this tree comes, right? The light source is maybe more on the left according to the other stuff. And so we can sort of render these almost like cones. I would, in my mind, I would probably go like this. Render them like this. Like I'd probably have a lit side and a shadowed side, and they would come down like this. So light hitting this side, light hitting this side, light hitting this side, maybe a bit of a cast shadow right here, and then a core. So that would be like the logic. And so I'll just start filling that in with these values, right? So cast shadow, cast shadow, cast shadow, shadowed side, shadowed side, shadowed side, shadowed side. And then I'd like overlap a bit. Again, these are kind of generic trees. And I've sort of evenly split them up, which I shouldn't. It can help to create depth. In a scene. I won't do that. I want a different. Maybe I'll just take old reliable.
All reliable.
You know, if you want the scene to have depth, this can help. Like, if you're working on the background, you can see how, like, this is the block in, but it really comes to life when you add a bunch of overlaps in that scale. There. You know, you can do something like that.
Cute one.
Time is it? 7.
7:02. Yep.
All right, you're on.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm about ready to wrap up soon.
Me too. It was done very nicely. Honestly, I don't really think you really need much shading for this style. Ouchie. I don't know if you're still here. It looks like you're still here.
I don't want to do that.
I mean, what I would do for you is, like, if you really want to add values to this, like, I just feel like this style doesn't really need it, because the main thing is, like, the shapes and stuff, and it's so simplified that you don't really need to add much. What I would do is I'd be like, okay, what's a top surface and what's a bottom surface? Like, for example, this top hat. Here's, like, you got that cylindrical rendering right there. That's really nice. But then, like, you know, maybe in this part of the hat, the bottom of the top hat could be in shadow. There goes my snack.
Oh, toaster.
Yeah, my toaster. So I would shade this, just in this dark valley right here, and just keep it simple, like light versus dark. You know, and then if I want to shade this, I would treat this like a sphere. So I'll just do this really quickly, and then I'll get my snacky.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
When in doubt.
So, like, I would think if I want more three-dimensional form, I would start thinking, what's my top surface and what's my bottom surface? So this is my top surface, that will be in light. This is my bottom surface, or the surface underneath, so maybe this could be in dark. And it could just be very simple, just a simple separation of light and dark, just like this. Now it feels like there's something going on with lighting. You know, here's maybe the dark side of the mustache. And you want to make sure that it's consistent. So, like, the top is going to be light, the bottom is going to be in shadow. Top is light, bottom is in shadow. Same thing with this bow right here. Here's the bottom. And a really nice bow.
Awesome, J Manga.
Thank you. And this can be rendered similar to that cylinder that you already did right in here. So as long as everything feels consistent, like in terms of lighting, then you're good. Doesn't have to be super complex. Well, that's my 2 cents on this one. And I chose this one because I feel like this is a good example. Like, you know, I would treat this the same way, knowing where your lighting is. You know, here you kind of got that, but I would maybe, if you want to, up the contrast on the shadow a little bit more, if that's what you want to go for. Like, I would use this value for the hat. But really, it doesn't really need much. Like, the style doesn't really need it. So yeah, very nice. It's a very cute ghost character. I love it. Alright. I gotta get my snack.
I'm almost through my black tea. What? Yeah, I finished it. Yum. Yummy. Yeah, it was delish. We did it, guys. The TikTok that we made live on stream the other week has got 45,000 views on Instagram now. The 6-7 folds one, it's still going up. Oh my gosh, I hope it does hit 67,000 views. So if y'all watched us the other week make that video live, you saw into the complete process of how we record a video. I'm just doing this, by the way. Like, Krenz cubes are fun until you realize you actually have to do them a lot, and then a lot of the time they're not very fun, but you still have to do them. There's an exponential fall off of students who do Krenz cubes 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and by the time you hit like 10 sets, you basically have 0 people left. Only the most diligent of students will do these like 10, 20 times. What do they say The market is saturated, but it's not saturated with good. It's saturated with that's what that one TikTok guy said. He's like, you know why it's fine to make content for a saturated market? Because a saturated market is not saturated with good content. It's just saturated. No market is saturated with good content.
I think that's a really good point. Because, like even in business, it's like, well, you know, the market's super saturated.
Yeah, competitive industries.
Yeah. But then it's like, it would only be very saturated if all the competitive stuff was very good. Then that would make it very difficult.
Yeah.
What is snacky? English muffins. What if you made a YouTube video on Krenz Cubes and the title was like, 90% of artists don't do this?
99%.
Only 1% of artists.
How many people have done Krenz Cubes at least once here?
Chip says, I do one big page of Krenz Cubes a day.
One big page, so like 81. Post in the Discord. And then how many people in here have done Krenz Cubes to completion? More than 10 times.
Check. Studies share. Lau says.
Check studies share, huh?
Dahlia says they have. Smiley says they have.
Oh, huh? More than 10 times. My question is, where are these being posted? Because I want to see them, bruh. Ooh, look at that.
Ooh, okay.
See, those are looking pretty nice.
Very nice, Lau.
This is good stuff. Here's some of Lau's Krenz Cubes. These are good. They're not bad at all. Like these are not bad at all.
Why are you drawing cubes? Practice.
I would say with your 1 points, these are a little bit deep. They tend to not be that deep. They'll probably be more like generally like this instead of that. So your boxes, if this wasn't a side view, it would probably be more like this long. Foreshortening happens really, really, really fast. They're very difficult though. Like Krenz Cubes are hard. But that's why you do the practice, is because you just do a bunch of them and you get better at them over time. Like mine aren't very good right now.
But you know how to fix it. I'm a cashier and sometimes I'll just doodle Krenz Cubes on the wine bags for practice. Oh, that's fun.
Funny.
Wine bags, huh?
Yeah, like this is it's a pretty nice exercise. If you don't know what to do, you can always do these. I do find it kind of hard to draw on the
Intros.
yeah.
Where do you want it? I'm also out of town, so picture of my tablet. You can put it in study share and tag us.
I'm always happy to see Krenz Cubes.
Do you do these practices as a warm-up before actual drawing?
Sometimes. This is more of like, come on. This is such a good song, bro. Where did this song even come from? Let's.
Oh, that was a good snack.
Yeah.
Can Can I present my fan art redraw for you guys? If so, how to do it? If we're doing for
Present.
critiques, I don't know if we're doing any more critiques.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do any more critiques today.
We're probably gonna wrap up soon too. I don't exactly know when though.
And then if you do Krenz cubes and you practice a lot, I would recommend making like little, almost like Lego building block scenes of stuff, like putting boxes together. So like Krenz cubes are a good exercise, but I would recommend building scenes out of blocks that are facing different directions. So, you know, you could have one right here. Maybe we'll actually go this way with it. Nah, let's do a different one. Where do we put it on the ground? Maybe like here. Like that. And I recommend, like, I'll draw like the bottom of the box to figure out where it is on the ground. Like, say I want a box right here, and that's where it is on the ground. And then I'll pull it up and I'll make it like shorter. So let's just say it's there. And it sits right there. And I'll put like a ground plane underneath of them. Sometimes. And you could even make it so all of those are up on a platform if you want. But this is a nice little exercise as well. And these boxes, you can end up modifying them. So like half point, slice into it. You can slice that one. Right? You can start modifying them in different ways. Actually, let's do this.
It's a cute song.
Yeah, it is.
Reminds me of those Toy Story cubes with numbers. Toy Story cubes with numbers. 99.99% of artists never do this. Oh, that's fun. This reminds me of what we were doing on a 3D modeling program at school, but with buildings.
Yeah. Drawing is basically 3D modeling, like in your head. So you can mix up your shapes and modify them and adjust them. You can go to like Pinterest and look at shapes of things. And that's why it's so important to learn how to draw primitive forms. Because like those are boxes. You learn how to draw cylinders, and then you can start connecting things together cylindrically. You learn how to draw cones. You can start connecting things
Canonically?
Canonically.
Canonically.
You can make cones part of your canon. And then if you want to put a ribbon there, you can put a ribbon in there. would really say build out some scenes like this. Put stuff together. How big is it?
How big is what? Oh. Oh, that. The person.
Oh. 300. I slept very early so I could watch your live streams. That's fun.
Yay!
Wait, how do you make it look like it's going like a circle? I was trying to make my cubes do that, but I was struggling. So the way that I wrap cubes around like an ellipse is I'll draw an ellipse and I'll pull out like this. So already I'm drawing in 3D. And like I draw it flat. Well, you can. Like I don't always, but like you can think about it flat. Like that. And then you can pull it down. You could pull all of it down. You could pull some of them down. And then you can add, you know, the middles. You could do this and that. And you could add this one. And I'm making sure that this is staying around an ellipse. This to me is like a very intuitive perspective way to draw. Like in my head, I'm going, this box has a vanishing point down there and down there. This box has a vanishing point down there and down there. This box has a vanishing point down there and down there. This box, probably down there, over there, and over there. It's 3-point perspective in my brain, right? This is also 3-point perspective. So like I could draw a box and I'll go like a 3-point perspective box going down that way. And then like what I would even say is you could redraw this exact thing in a different camera. Like that's a really, that'd be really tough. So like what does that even mean? Well, my vanishing points, I'll make them closer together. So for example, let's go and let's do this one and that. And so I'm gonna draw this box out. And I'll like make the perspective more extreme. Or at least I'll attempt to. This is, I think, a really good exercise. And so this one. And then there's that one. And so I'm going to have a vanishing point that's like this on the bottom. And I could even set up a grid for that. And so this one over here is going to be like this. This one is going to pull in really hard as well. This one is going to foreshorten really fast. This one is going to be way larger. Like, try something like this. See, I kind of got the scale of this one wrong.
We got some hand tutorials on our TikTok page, so you can check those out if you want immediate information.
So you can see that these two are in different cameras. This one right here is in a wider lens. It's converging much faster. This one here is in a longer lens. So I would practice doing this too. Struggling drawing the cubes with the vanishing points and horizon. Bye bye, Lau.
Yeah, our video that has like the guy with the ugly crying face as the thumbnail is the hands tutorial, and we go over like fingers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this?
That's cute.
Yeah.
What do you think, chat? Mermaid Mickey with a treasure chest? It'd probably just have a bunch of like seaweed in it. She's like, I hate seaweed.
Ew, I hate
The
seaweed.
gold dissolved long ago.
I need to figure out how to value group all this.
Blurry.
Oh. There we go. I don't even know if I want all this to be bright. I think that's probably better. Then I'll add some this darker value up in here. Some rocks can get pretty bright, huh? Like they have like the sides of the rock can be like really
I mean,
bright.
if they're being hit directly by light, yeah.
I would need to look up reference for doing this piece. She's so pretty. Colton's character. So of course it would be pretty.
I'm struggling. What are you struggling with? Cubes with the vanishing point after and horizon line. Did you guys ever use any art books? Yeah, we have a bunch of art books. I use them a lot. There's some really good books out there. Most people who buy books don't actually read them at all.
It's true.
So I tried to be the person who doesn't, but I mean I don't. I fail a lot of the time.
Fail at reading them. It is. I feel like art is a lot easier to see visually because like you can actually see how the marks are being made. But like in a book, it's like you have to imagine how the strokes are made. Even if with pictures, it's like kind of hard to see that. Oh, I have my mentorship with Lindsay this week.
Yeah, that's fun. One point perspective. I can show you some 1 point perspective, something to exercise if you want. So, what you can do is you can draw a line and a dot, and then you can just draw some rectangles. So, we'll draw a rectangle here. We'll draw a rectangle here, here, here. All right, so these will be boxes. So all you really have to do is take a line from the dot to the corners of these, right? So we'll just start with this one. Straight line out to the corner. And then you have to decide how deep your box is. And then you just draw another rectangle and connect them. So we'll try it with another box. We can try it with this one up here. So like that and that. And maybe this one is much shallower. So we can maybe go like this. Bro, I can't draw on this thing, I swear. Bro, there we go. There we go. Good enough. Maybe I'll pull this one down a little bit. Make it a little bit more interesting. So the boxes, like the rectangles, are, this is perfectly left and right, and this is perfectly up and down. And we can just use this same line here. Maybe this one's pretty long. And so there's a box. And I always recommend doing draw through, which is when you draw through the sides. Drawing like through the sides in order to see the back corners like that. And then you can do this one here. And you do this a lot. Like I would literally say, like for homework, you don't have to freehand it. You're gonna get a lot more practice if you freehand it, by the way. Oh, this is a hard line. Ugh. Weird angle. And then what I like to do is clean up a little bit, make it presentable. You don't have to. I like to. I like to add a little bit of line weight here and there. Where are these objects in 3D space? How are they overlapping? Are they overlapping? Which one's in front of which? And I'll just add like a dark line around the edge. Just some basic line weight. Like this is the boring stuff. There you go. There's some boxes in 1 point perspective. And I would, like for homework, if you want to be able to do these well, I would like do 20 of these scenes and do like 10 boxes each. 10 boxes each. And just do that exact process if you want. Like you make a rectangle, you pull lines from your vanishing point to the corners. And then you just connect them. And then I always like to clean up. This is the exact homework that you would get in most perspective classes. It's the basics of 1 point, and 2 point is similar, but except these being horizontal, they're going to another vanishing point. Your lines don't have to be straight. They just have to start and end in the right spot. A lot of artists don't like drawing straight lines. Straight lines are stiff. They're not dynamic. How did you guys learn anatomy? A lot of figure drawing classes and a lot of anatomy studies.
A lot. Like, you just draw a bunch of figures and humans over time. Like every kind of practice or any kind of illustration that you draw will include figure drawing if you have a character in it. So
if you want to learn anatomy, we also have a class.
yes, we do.
We have a full figure drawing class on in our anime art school.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you want to learn anatomy, we have a whole 12-week class on it that teaches the entire process from proportion.
It's not focusing, is it?
You tap the camera, please. Thank you.
Yep. From proportion.
Full proportion, how to break down the torso in different ways. There's like the shoulder girdle and rib cage. Here's torso anatomy.
Male and female.
Yup, there's the legs, front, side, back. And all of this is explained, demoed in live in real time. You go through the whole thing. So that's in our anime art school.
It's just some full figures.
Yeah.
We even paint them and color them as well later. So it's like figure painting as well in it.
Figure painting, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's important. Of course, you can't really paint a figure if you don't know the forms.
Mm-hmm. Can you go back 2 times? Is it this one? Or was it the legs and the hands? Okay, this one. Yeah, you can take a screenshot. This is the process that you would learn anatomy and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find this on our anime art school. This is all the stuff that I've actually learned in a bunch of other figure drawing classes, and I basically took what I liked the most and I put it in there.
Yeah.
It's a lot more saturated on screen here, on the camera. Kind of like that. I prefer that. If I made it more saturated.
How do I join?
Oh, how do you join? You go to
Yeah.
drawanime.com. That is our website.
Yeah, this is our website. You don't Google this. You put this in your browser. It's drawanime.com. It's also the link on our profile. And it's going to be the yellow button, Anime Art School. And you can check out all the details on that page. It tells you all the classes, all the stuff that you're going to be doing. And you can sign up on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a self-paced program, so you can go through it at your own time.
Yes.
I need to do some master studies, bro.
Masters would be really good. Do you need to pay? Yes, you do.
Yep. It's a paid school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the more saturated look. I'm probably ready to paint over this. What do you think? What do you think? I feel like some seafoam would be kind of cute.
She's like, ew, put that. I got seafoam in my mouth.
But at least I look cute. Seafoam. It's kind of interesting how the ocean just froths. It's probably this value. Thank you, Yorichi, for the follow. You know what?
Very nice.
Yeah, really nice boxes.
Yes, and they're done right too.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that Lau actually put a lot of effort into doing them right, which is really good. It's nice.
Maybe. I don't like how much streakiness there is here.
When I line my sketch for line art, it comes out worse than the sketch is. There's a term called plussing.
Yes.
It's blurry.
Ah.
There's a term called plussing, and basically, when you draw over a sketch, you want your line art to provide more information than your sketch. If it doesn't, there's literally no point in lining it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, clarify line weight, solidify overlaps, make things clear. Lining something doesn't just mean going in and drawing over it with a smaller brush. I used to have this problem a lot. It means clarifying information. You know, you can give more silhouette detail. You can explain things visually that you couldn't in the sketch phase. Like, sketch is almost like higher level thinking, like big main shapes and masses. When you line something, you provide more detail, or you provide more information for the viewer.
Yeah.
You describe forms, you describe texture, you describe silhouette, you solidify and clarify overlaps, stuff like that. But it's an actual term, it's called plussing. I think it keeps unfocusing.
What the heck?
I think it focuses on your hand or something.
Oh, so annoying.
Autofocus. I don't have any idea. Where's the focus area?
What is your guys' favorite part of an illustration or of a character you're drawing? Probably this phase, the sketch and kind of color rough phase, because I don't have to think about doing any of the rendering. But I guess let me think. But I guess the rendering part is also fun too, because once you have a good image, then like all you have to do is just listen to some music and render. Mermaid Mako, yay, and mermaid or Maiko, yeah. I love mermaids. I love drawing them. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure of mine. Same with princesses. So I draw them a lot. Is it not focusing still? It looks like it's focused.
Yeah, it's pretty focused right
Yeah,
now.
honestly, the cropping of this is actually pretty good too. Let me just take a screenshot of that, because I may just end up cropping this whole thing. But I don't like
I don't know what you're taking a picture of.
just
Oh,
that
that
crop.
one.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
I mean, yeah, I think it does look pretty good.
But even the horizontal looks pretty good too. Can you show an example of plussing on one of your videos someday? I mean,
Probably. We could mention it.
yeah.
It's more of like, it's just a concept of like, you basically, when you refine a line work, you want to provide more information. So like, Christina's probably going to draw over this really quick. Maybe just do the face.
Okay.
Like, look at her sketch, right? She's got like the main volumes of the hair. She's got like this hair strand right here. If you were to like line that,
If I were to line that,
or just make a more detailed sketch. See how she's not tracing it? She's just using it to inform like what she's doing now. It's like she's not just like tracing line for line. She's going, I'm going to use my underdrawing in order to make sure that my new sketch is in the right place and I have good volumes.
it's more like the sketch is seen as just the structure.
Yeah.
And you can always just like,
Yeah, you think about the sketch as a structure, as like a framework. And so the reason that people's line works look worse than the sketch is a lot of the time because, number one, they're just maybe tracing. They just think, I'm going to use a smaller brush. I'm going to trace. And you just trace your work. Like, in which case, what would even be the point of a refined sketch if it's simply just the sketch traced?
yeah.
In a lot of cases, people's refined line works will look worse just because they're tracing the sketch.
Well, not
And the
only
sketch
that.
has energy that your new line work's going to lack.
Yeah. Another thing is that when you have like your sketch, sometimes maybe your decisions on how you group things may not be as good.
Yeah.
So if you're like tracing on top of an already not very good decision, it's not really going to help it.
Yeah, and it's like the sketch solves some problems, and then the refined line work solves others.
Yeah.
If you're not solving any problems with the new line work, that could be why it doesn't look as good. Is it could actually be taking the artwork backwards.
Yeah.
So
Like I think
Christina's thinking a lot about overlaps.
I even think that the face is a little bit too long. So I might just like go in and cut that out. And I have to maybe rearrange some of the facial features. Like I made the ear too low. So I got to
Yeah.
make it a little bit higher. And you can also do this in painting where like I would make corrections and then I would like basically repaint it so it looks like this. In fact, I kind of want to try that.
Yeah,
So
it's
like-
not, like plussing isn't just a drawing term. It's just a concept of making it better.
Yeah.
Like using each step to improve upon what you did before. I learned it from a DreamWorks guy that I took a class from. He was the teacher's assistant for Will Weston's class. His name was Chris. And I'd also heard about it somewhere else, but I don't remember where.
I really like this blue highlight in the hair. And you know, this goes the same with like even painting. Like people paint over their work all the time, and they'll like add, you know, take out shapes, add in new shapes, refine certain shapes, and you know, in the mouth, like maybe it doesn't look as good as you wanted it to. You know, I may even just take this out, but I'll move it somewhere that makes it feel more natural. But it's like the same concept. Like I'm following the same. I'm trying to follow my what's it called? My idea, but just modifying it so it looks better. You know, maybe I don't like this mouth very much, so I just go and carve it out. Let me see. Yeah, I like the old mouth more. So what I'm gonna do is I'll probably just like.
In a post on Artshare 1, could I get some pointers? I don't think we're doing any feedback right now.
Nah.
We're just drawing. Maybe during another critique stream, if we do one.
Critiques take a good amount of energy as well.
We pretty much just do critique streams when we want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, maybe that will work. These kind of colors remind me of your paintings
Does it?
a little bit.
Interesting.
Like, you like to use-
sleeping in the window. He's been there for hours,
Yep,
hasn't
he has been there for
I was
hours.
wondering.
Saves from losing what you may have done originally. Yeah.
I didn't put on the Halloween music today.
No. If we listen to it too much, we'll probably get tired of it. I have a thing in my throat.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem, mermaid. just merge this. I kind of wish that Photoshop has a feature where they can record your screen as you draw.
I'm sure there's a plugin.
Maybe there is, yeah.
A lot of people make plugins and stuff for it, for Photoshop.
Mm-hmm. Do you normally use Photoshop, not Procreate? Yeah, I normally use Photoshop when I'm not on the iPad. I'm gonna have to look up more reference for this part. I got confused because I see the pencil. Yeah, no, this is not. This is an iPad. When I'm not, yeah, this is an iPad. You're not confused. You're good.
Is Photoshop compared to CSP? Is Photoshop better to use? It's just different.
Yeah.
You can do stuff in Photoshop that you can't do in Clip Studio, but most artists wouldn't need it. Christine and I run a business, and so we do a bunch of promotional artwork. We do a bunch of homework assignments where we write stuff, where we text tool, we do graphic design, we do books. We have 2 published books. I wouldn't want to lay out a book in Clip Studio.
Yeah.
But most artists would never need to use the tools of Photoshop. Most artists don't publish books. It's easy to move between InDesign and Photoshop. And it's easy to throw files back and forth between Christina and I when we're both working in the same program. And she likes Photoshop, like she's pretty used to it.
Yeah.
I'm used to it. I also did concept art for a long time, and concept art's got a lot of photo bashing. Like, Photoshop is very powerful for concept art, especially for like modern AAA games. Almost all of it's photo bashing. I did that for years for work. So like, a lot of this kind of stuff has a lot of photo bashing in it. Like, you can see photo textures in here. Some of it's painted, some of it's photo textures. You wouldn't do this in Clip Studio, that's for sure. A lot of filters and stuff, like these people are photo textures. But that's like concept portfolio. But Clip Studio for like drawing and line work and painting and stuff is good. I haven't really used it very much, but it's good. Nix, hello?
What do you recommend for portrait art? For what exactly? Do you mean like program-wise, or do you mean like what do you recommend for practice? Program, yes. It doesn't matter. Both will work fine. Whatever is you think is easier to work with, you can just do any portrait. I've done portraits in Clip Studio Paint, and I've done portraits in Photoshop as well. Yeah, there's no difference.
See, this is a pretty good cube right here.
That
That
is a
feels
very
to
good
me
cube.
like a cube. Proper cube. This one. Kinda close. This one's too tall.
Cats can be so dramatic. I was just remembering what happened the other night after Applejack got a bath.
I think I'm about ready to wrap up.
Me too.
And I'm gonna jump right to my other computer and draw.
Oh, same here.
After eating, probably.
Yeah.
Alright, everybody.
Honestly, this is quite fun.
I think
like
we're
this
gonna call it there. Thank you for hanging out and showing up. Appreciate it. Yep.
It was fun.
It was indeed fun. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Have a good night, chat.
See
We'll
ya.
you probably tomorrow. Maybe.
Maybe. All right. Bye-bye, YouTube as well.